What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, as usual. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. As you can see, we got a couple folks on the screen. Fellas, well, for starters, this episode is sponsored by Jack. I didn't say that last time. I wanted to make sure we got that out the way now. Most of us got our cups out. Freddie is not. He is driving, so we are responsible out here. He is our
I got
DD.
my Yeti. I got my Yeti, bro.
Yeah. So there's a chance that we might get a little saucy. We might get just a little sauce, but we still might, do a little better job than Freddie. It's okay though. Freddie, how's everybody doing? How's everybody day going?
Can't complain, man. Winding down. Now it's time to have fun, man. Listen, it's everybody's favorite time of the year next to the NBA Finals, man.
Yes, sir.
Big facts.
Already. Some of us are happy. Some of us are pissed off. I'm a Knicks fan, so you do with that what you love.
Hey, more prayers to you, my brother.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's a tough one. Byron, introduce yourself since you knew.
Hot take.
I got you. What's going on, everybody? My name is Byron Barney, former athlete for the Baltimore Ravens. Man, I played wide out back there in 19. You all, meet you all face to face.
Yes, sir.
Bad. Welcome to have you on the show. Sharper, say what's up to the folk right quick, bro.
Yo, what's up? My name is Ryan Sharper, a school teacher that loves all sports, especially basketball and football. So let's get to it.
Bad. Reese, say what's up.
Yes, sir. Y'all know who it is. Reese back again. T-Mac jersey this time. Take it back to 2000. He left the Magic to go to the Raptors. His free agency had to come on a little heat on today.
Okay. Jordan, say what's up to the folk, man.
Hey, man, last but not least, man, Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all having me back. Just ready to get in here and have some good conversation, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right, cool. So, this would be a good little conversation to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to start it off, though, with something serious a little bit. Not a little bit, but, something serious. Brittany Griner, she's kind of hemmed up over in Russia. What's y'all thoughts on the situation? Byron, I want to start with you since you're an athlete. What's your takes on the situation?
Yeah, man, I think it's kind of messed up. I mean, I know it was over some vape and things like that, and I'm sure the issue is bigger than vape. As we probably aware of, as tensions been going on between both countries for decades, really since the 1950s with the Cold War and things like that. So, man, it's definitely tough. She's in a situation, an environment where she has no control, don't even know what's going on probably. So I hope things are expedited. I know her trial is this week, I believe, or again the next.
Proceedings and stuff started today, but
yeah. So like I said, hopefully she can make it back in one piece. Hopefully she wasn't hurt. But like I said, it's just an unfortunate situation. You go to a different country, wanting to visit, and kind of, do your thing, but she got hemmed up for the last 4 or 5 months now. So I just hope that she's all right. Hope her family is all right and things like that.
Yeah, it's tough because she gets hemmed up and you don't even hear about it for a while, and then you hear things about wrongful detainment, and I'm just like that's very unfortunate, and I just wish she was back, man. If you even just think about it from a basketball perspective, you miss her on the court, and then you think about it, being in prison, even in the United States, that's wild. Overseas, nah, I'm cool. I'd rather it's tough for her. And I hope when she does come back, she's mentally good to go. Not to play basketball, just in general, mentally good to go. But that's something that's tough, man.
Well, bouncing off what Byron said. Not only that, the fact that she is a woman of color over there, and she's gay. They have issues. Russia has issues with whether you're a male or female being gay, and she is of color. And like Byron said, with everything going on between our country and Russia, that's almost like 3 strikes. And they might be using her as a bait, kind of we'll leave her off. We'll let her go if y'all kind of ease up off us with what we got going on with Ukraine. And I feel bad for her because she's kind of caught in the middle of all this. You know what I'm saying? And also, I wonder for other women that are in the WNBA of color that might be gay, or maybe not even women of color, but just in gay playing in the WNBA, will this change your mindset of going over to Russia to play, in the off season when WNBA isn't playing will that change your mindset going over there for women playing over there overseas?
I know it changed mine.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, like Byron said, Sharp said, I mean, 4 or 5 months. We talking today. I looked it up, 135 days. And like Trey said, for the first bit, I mean, really nobody knew except those close to her. And that's even tougher to really think about. It wasn't even in the media's eyes. And I personally feel like things like this, it should be getting daily attention. I mean, there should be clocks on every sports show. The fact that she is still over there. Because I feel like when you let things like this not fly under the radar, I feel like we live in a social media area where everything is moving. You know what I mean? Every day, like free agency just started and everything like that. So Twitter, that's all over Twitter. Every time you open up social media, it's a new thing trending. But something like this, like y'all said, I mean, that's our sister over there, 135 days. And the way they're looking at it, they're saying she may be facing up to 10 years. I saw something crazy. They're saying like 1% of trials get acquitted over there in Russia for this type of situation. And that's ridiculous. You know, and I feel like a lot of people are calling on Biden and those of power to kind of put pressure on Russia, but tensions were mentioned, and when things are tense, I mean, it's not like, you know what I mean, it's not like pressures like that is really going to have that heavy of an influence.
Well, I think something that I would say, you know, that I just thought about just now is, you know, let's just, you know, take the elephant out the room. If it was a different athlete, if it was somebody like a LeBron or Tom Brady or you know, a Roger Federer, you know, whatever it may be, I guarantee you something would have been expedited or they would have been back. And I think you know, down to is that it's a woman and it's a woman of color, and you know she's 6'8", you know, and things like that. So you know they think, oh, she can probably carry her own.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if it was a different athlete, you know, or whatever it may be, somebody who had a higher name or higher profile, this would have been a long time ago. Right, so you wouldn't have to be worrying going through stuff like that because that wouldn't have flew. So I think that's one thing that needs to be addressed as well that others are probably aware of. But if it was another athlete like a Tom Brady or something like that, I guarantee you they would have been back already.
For sure.
Yeah. Now I do have a question because again, we all do want Brittany Griner back, right? You know, again, the thing was for me when I saw wrongful detainment immediately, I was like, this should be easy, right?
I'm looking at it. I'm seeing petty drug charge. That's what I see. That's I'm like, come on,
like that. But apparently, you know, like weed is illegal over in Russia. So if she was carrying it, like, do you guys ever look at it from that vantage point? Like, okay, well, I mean, to be fair, she was carrying it. Like, do you guys look at it like that at all? Like, let's say, for example, somehow they're able to just remove the wrongful detainment situation.
I mean, So I was thinking about that a little bit earlier because I don't know the particulars of it, right? But laws in different countries are different, right? When you go to a different country, you're expected to respect their legal system and what they have going on. Kind of like the same thing with the track situation when the girl, she couldn't run the Olympics because she had been caught smoking marijuana. Just because America is cool with it, don't mean the world is, right? But even that being said, like it's difficult for me with an American kind of perspective to look at it and think that this much, that this is even worth trying in this fashion. Like 10 years, like there's something else at play there. It doesn't make sense. Not having an understanding of their legal system, obviously. But was she in the wrong for having it? Right? Absolutely. Was she 10 years of her life in Russia as an American in the wrong for having it?
That's tough.
Absolutely not. So it's like, yes, accountability, but then there's you got to gauge harshness where it's at. And this is harsh. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, it'd be really different if we talking pounds in her duffel bag.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like intent to sell. We're talking about a babe. Like, that's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, because like when I first saw the news, I was like, oh, like I'm not trying to make this a joke. But I'm like, maybe the WNBA needs to start paying the women more because they're making it seem like she's trapping. Like she got to do this now. Like that's tough, bro. Like that's the perception that you get just reading these articles. And like just knowing that she's been over there since I want to say 2014 because she's played for the Russian team over there. So it's like we're doing this to her now. Like why? Y'all could have really let this go.
The timing of it is
but it's like she really.
Yeah, I know she's pissed. Like I said, we all are hoping that she is able to come back safely. Like, be with a lovely wife who just graduated law school, if I'm not mistaken. So, hopefully she gets back to her life. But on to the NBA and some people who are kind of held captive as well. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they're on the Nets right now. People.
What?
Held captive though?
Like, that is just
maybe KD
is.
It's KD. Maybe, I don't know.
I will say this, y'all. The most petty person so far today is my man Joel Embiid with the capital LOL tweet. My man he is weak right now.
He's can't. That's Troel Embiid, my brother. That's not Joel. Joel Embiid, my brother. Come on now, learn his name, dog. Learn his name. You should have saw that coming.
All right,
he LOLing, but he made sure he told management go get that guy.
Yeah, I'm about to say. He said, "Hey, Toby and all them, let him go." Bring that man.
So let me ask y'all this then. I guess Jordan, we can start with you because I want you to say exactly what you told me. Where should Kevin Durant go then? Where should the Nets send Kevin Durant?
Where should the Nets send Kevin Durant?
Yes.
I don't think that's
should.
So. All right,
capitalize on the word.
So should I feel like should is the first.
You can give some you can give some sensationalism if you want to too.
Oh, all right, cool. So if we go in there, Philadelphia, absolutely. Like if we go in there, Philadelphia, I think we have a great trade package with Tobias Harris. I can't get it out of the straight face. With Tobias Harris and Matisse Thybulle. Hell, throw in Maxey, right? Who needs you at this stage of the game? Joel Embiid only got 2-3 more years left on them legs anyway. And James Harden better sell himself in the last 3 years. So you know what I'm saying? Let's go get Kevin Durant, give him the team, and figure it out. Realistically speaking, I'm gonna tell you the truth. The only place that makes sense to me is two. Portland, because I would love to see Dame have another running mate that, other than like CJ was a great player, but he needs a wing, right? With the way that he plays basketball, he needs a scoring wing. It's a good athlete. They can get up and down and be a threat with his height as well as his shooting ability. Okay. So I think that Portland would be a great spot for him. The other spot, because of the storyline and because it would be super exciting just to watch these two guys get a bucket, the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it absolutely would not work under any circumstances, right? But I want to see Shai, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a bucket, right? For KD to have his reunion tour with a 6'6" point guard that can score the way that he does, I think that would be really fun to watch. But Portland is probably the place that I would want him to go. If not, the Philadelphia Sixers, Daryl Morey. I never liked you, but I hope you're listening.
Okay. All right. So that concludes our Fantasy Friday segment of the show.
It's Thursday. It's Thursday.
It drops Friday. I'll make sure it drops Friday. Byron, where do you think Kevin Durant should go? Do you agree with any of the three teams that Jordan stated, or do you have another team?
Absolutely not. I don't hear
That's crazy.
That was a Stephen A. take. Absolutely not.
Stephen A. take is super. Don't you ever disrespect him like that, bro. Boy. Hey, listen.
Well, you saying that you're a Knicks fan?
I'm more of a Colin Cowherd guy. That's my guy. But anyways, I think that he should go to. I think it really depends on a couple factors. He's saying the Suns. I think best package. But now I actually did read something that the Nets won't trade without exchanging Booker. I would not exchange a 25 Devin Booker for Kevin Durant. But what I would do is I would pitch in Cameron Johnson, DeAndre Ayton, and Cameron Payne, and probably a first-round pick. I would do that because Ayton doesn't want to be there anyway. Cam Johnson's a good wing defender. You know, he has length. You know, he has size. He's about 6'9" or whatever it may be, and he can shoot the basketball. And you can get a backup point guard in Cameron Payne who kind of exploded on the scene, did a good job. And, you know, the Nets have no picks either for the next couple of years. So why not get a pick or two out of it, right? So that would be my first choice for him. My second choice for him, honestly, truth be told, I could see him going to Atlanta. I think Atlanta, the
Why you
move.
take my pick? Damn.
Now, if they do it, I don't know. But I do think with DeJounte Murray there, Trae Young, if they can keep John Collins and add Kevin Durant, I think that's good.
Hey, time out.
I'd rather let go of
talk about
Collins
Stephen
and get
A.
rid of
takes.
and keep
Hold up.
Capella.
How
Talking
do
about
Hey.
you get Kevin Durant and keep DeJounte Murray, Trae Young, and John Collins? I just want you to explain to me how that even is for both
I
sides.
think they
He
would
said
have.
it.
I think they would have to move John Collins. I don't think they move DeJounte or Trae Young. I don't think they do it. I don't think the Hawks make a trade for him. But if the Hawks have to move John Collins for sure, I don't think they do it though. I don't think the Nets would accept it anyways, because Collins isn't a big enough star.
Yeah,
his ceiling.
They got a lot of young assets though.
They're like D. Hunter and whatnot.
Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, couple picks maybe if they got it.
But that's not a straight trade situation though. When you start names like that out, like that has to be 3 teams involved.
It's not. But like I said, I could also. My last pick. It depends on what Bradley Beal does. I could see him and Bradley Beal teaming up somewhere. Where I don't know, but I could see that being a good fit. So it kind of depends on where Bradley goes and where KD kind of wants to go. I can kind of see like a LeBron waiting on Chris Bosh to sign with the Heat type ordeal. So who knows? But those are my 3.
Okay, I was gonna say I could see the Heat. I could see that like both of them going to the Heat. To be honest with you, the Wizards would give up Kyle Lowry because the Heat would give up Kyle Lowry because the Wizards are a dumb enough team that would take him because he has championship pedigree and they need to change the locker room. So with that being said, Sharper, where do you think KD should go? He's a Wizards fan, by the way. People.
Okay, that was a nice intro, bro. That was a nice segue there. I like that. That was funny. To be honest with you, I agree. Him going to Portland, that would be a nice pickup. What's your boy Paulo trying to get him to come down to Orlando? That ain't happening. Him tweeting that out.
We going back to that Fantasy Friday.
Has he even signed the dotted line yet?
That's why I was laughing.
Game check.
Hey, that's why I was laughing. Somebody was like, "Bro, you only been here for like two breaths of a take, and you already up here talking about, hey, don't sleep, bro. Get through summer league first."
Don't sleep on the Magic now, but that's another story for another day. But
I would say, I agree with Portland, because I feel like Miami doesn't have enough to offer. Brooklyn Nets, are you gonna give up? They would be in rebuild mode anyway, and they probably gonna try to find a way to ship off Ben Simmons. I don't know who would take Ben Simmons. But to unload him in that contract, but like I said, Portland, maybe Philly. I would agree with Philly, possibly, him landing in Philly. Those are the most realistic. You got to look at what team. Hey, I agree with you, Joe. Hey, no, I agree. You got to look at it. You got to look at the numbers. You got to look at the talent, the draft picks. Okay, you have a Tyler Hero.
Contracts.
Yeah, contract. Tyler Hero, okay, but does he move the meter? The good thing about Brooklyn is they do have shooters. They got Patty Mills. They got Curry. They got my boy. Agent. Yeah, they got Patty Mills,
free agent. So
he a free. Oh,
yeah.
Well, they might.
I thought he was gonna take that $6 million option.
He's unrestricted, so he can decide what he wants to do.
He's gonna take that. But I'm gonna be honest. I don't know too many people that are gonna pay Patty more than like $3-4 million. To be honest,
maybe Patty can go to the Lakers, but I think that's the realistic. Like what y'all was saying with KD, I say Portland or Philadelphia. That's really it, because Brooklyn's smoking if they think that Phoenix gonna give up Devin Booker. And doesn't Bam have something in his contract where it kind of negates him being kind of trade? I thought there was something in his contract where
no trade
money-wise contract. I don't know, it was something with the money, because they were talking about it wouldn't be able to match up with Brooklyn.
I don't
Not
think
unless
talking about
anybody in
money-wise.
NBA has a no trade clause right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying they said the only way that a trade with the Nets and the Heat would happen is if they found a third team to do a 3-way trade and get rid of Ben Simmons too. So that's that's
Not
one
money-wise,
option.
that's true.
That's tough.
That's one option. I mean, Ben Simmons he might end up in some place like Indiana or Sacramento.
Damn.
Indiana is super crazy.
Hey.
Sacramento is also crazy.
Hey, Sacramento just got Malik
Sacramento
Monk,
would be straight though. Like, they would be straight for them though.
I'm not mad at Ben going to Sacramento.
I'm not mad at Ben going to
Chris
Sacramento.
Webber?
Chris Webber. You just said Ben Simmons. Chris Webber. What?
That's tough.
I'm not.
Listen.
Chris Webber is a bum, but I'm gonna leave it at that. I think Chris Webber is a bum.
That's wild.
Yo, all right, so real quick, let me go. I like you.
Right now,
I like you.
You think Chris Webber's a bum?
Let me go.
Bum. The fact that
Yo,
you a Michigan fan, ain't you? You a Michigan fan, ain't you? He a Michigan fan.
I'm sober. I'm gonna tell you this right now.
He's a Michigan fan. I
he's
promise
drinking
you.
and
He's a
smoking
Michigan
something.
fan, bro. He has to be a
bum.
Michigan fan. He mad at the timeout.
Yo, bum 10 times in the last 30 seconds is crazy.
Bum is so crazy.
The bum.
Please explain.
The fact that he even dares to put himself. I heard him talk on an interview one time. Tell him this too. The fact that he said, "Oh, I had to play against the likes of KG and Tim Duncan and Dirk." Like, you nowhere near them. What do you mean?
He had to play against them, is what he said.
He didn't even know. Chris Webber had one good year when they had Mike Bibby and Peja. That's it. Chris Webber's a bum. Bum.
Don't forget Doug Christie.
And Doug Christie.
Hey, listen. Hey, Trey.
Shout out to Speedy Claxton. That's going on the
that Jack sponsorship?
Oh.
That Jack sponsorship?
Cut it.
Cut that out.
We're going at millionaires on this. I like this.
Hey, look, I'll admit. I remember when they traded Chris Webber to Sacramento for Mitch Richmond, and I was like, I remember being a kid. I'm like, who is this dude? Because Chris Webber.
You said who was Chris Webber or who was Mitch Richmond?
No. I remember being young and being like, who is Mitch Richmond? You know what I'm saying? When we made that trade and we lost, you know what I'm saying? We lost. And then to see his career, I know you call him a bum, but I think he made like 4 or 5 All-Stars in Sacramento.
But don't say you don't have to say it again.
What is
Don't say it again, please. Please don't.
Please don't. It don't get no better at all anytime you say it. I'm just letting you know that. Like, just be like, I take a heat.
Chris Webber's a bum. I'm gonna say it like that.
Okay, hey Byron, let me ask you this: would you say Chris Webber would be a top 50 all-time power forward or top 25, top 30 all-time?
Top 50 is huge. He's definitely top 25.
Top 50, yeah, for sure.
Top 20. Top
25 power forwards.
Power forward. We're talking about the power forward position.
Like, can you name for me 20?
Anthony Davis was named to the top 75. He's a bum.
He's a
bum. He's not a bum.
He's not a bum.
He just.
Let him speak.
He just doesn't like basketball. Anthony Davis doesn't like basketball.
Listen, no, hold on. I love that you said that though, because I actually had a question for you. I saw somebody tweet, and so as somebody who's in the NFL, right? I saw somebody tweet that out of all sports, NBA players like love their sport the least. So like seeing free agency and seeing guys like trying to force trades from teams and stuff like that, coming from a guy who's been in the NFL and kind of been in those rooms and seen movements like that kind of firsthand, like what is it, from an NFL like perspective? Do y'all look at the NBA and laugh like these guys are really doing this?
I mean, I would say this, right? My favorite sport is basketball. So what I would say this is that a lot of these other sports, it requires a different level of work because there's numerous people who can do what you do, right? So you have to be passionate about it because I wouldn't say there's a million Jamar Chases or Justin Jeffersons. I'm not saying that. But there's a million, Jordy Nelsons and, you know, guys like that who are just, you know, mid-tier wideouts and things like that. So you have to put in more work. You won't find a Kevin Durant walking down the street. You won't find a LeBron James walking down the street. So it's like when you know you're super talented, you know, you kind of just do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Where you see what I'm saying? And like, for example, Randy Moss. Randy Moss, my favorite receiver. Randy didn't like working out. So because he was just naturally talented. Not saying that he didn't love the game of football, but he was just more talented, right? So I think when you look at football versus basketball, I think basketball, the quality of top players is smaller. I gotta go, but the quality of top players is smaller. Yeah. We will definitely continue this later. I gotta see y'all, but I appreciate the invite. I'll be back next time, fellas. Y'all take care.
Appreciate you, Bob. Appreciate you.
Didn't get to chime in on anything,
and Chris Webber's a top 10 power forward.
That's
we bookmark that.
Yeah,
I want you to know. I want you to know, bro.
Just to recap, Chris Webber's a bum, and we're kind of on the subject of the Nets dilemma and KD's best trade destination.
Could y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Listen, fellas, I've been struggling for like 20 plus minutes. I've been losing my mind at some of y'all comments. For whatever reason, I could not say anything for 20 minutes. Trust me, I'm never that quiet. So I missed out.
Well, it's your turn. It's your turn.
I mean, it's your.
What did I miss out on? I came back. Listen.
Oh wait, no.
I left on Brittany Griner, and I came back. You didn't miss out on anything.
Your sound is going in and out.
Is it? I know why. Now. Okay, 1 second. I got it.
You're good. But I was gonna say though, while I kind of used a little bit of my turn to ask him that question about comparing kind of the NBA free agency and like that. But I have to say this, and I'm gonna touch the mic, and then I'm gonna take my hand off the mic, and I'm gonna touch it again. And I'm gonna say, what did Thanos say? We're talking about KD leaving teams. What did it cost you? Everything. We're talking about a guy who I mean, especially based on what modern medicine is doing. We got LeBron, who is just he's on that track. KD comes back from Achilles. You know what I mean? We're talking about a guy who was signed to 4 years. Okay, we're talking about Kevin Durant. We're not talking about KD on a 1-year player option. We're talking about whoever receives KD. And then here's my caveat, right? Whoever receives KD will have him for 4 years unless he forces a trade. And that's why I had to ask him, how do other like professional sports look at stuff like this? Because KD being signed 4 years and then forcing his way out of Brooklyn, I think is highly unprofessional.
Hey, Reese.
After only being there for only 2 years and really only playing 70 games total.
Hey, Reese.
Yeah.
Could you guys hear me fine now, or?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm here, baby. I'm here now. I'm not going anywhere now.
But I think it's crazy. Like, I think whoever creates a package. I mean, I saw some on Twitter that said Boston was going for KD. Let's really be honest. Anybody who is going for Kevin Durant, you are willing to give your firstborn. It's not anything.
That's not necessarily true.
I'm about to say,
I would argue back on that.
Okay, all right. I want to know where would you start? I guess in a package as a team.
Nobody else heard that.
What?
Yeah, I heard that.
Come on, Reese, stop. Reese, let
Junior have this conversation.
Let Tim Hardaway Jr. talk.
Tim Hardaway the third.
Somebody just finished me. Okay, I missed that. Damn, that's good. I claps in for that, bro. That was good. I missed it. Whoever finished me. Yeah.
I heard that.
All right.
What are you countering as a package, or who? Because I didn't give any teams. I'm cool not giving any teams. I feel like whoever does it is gonna have to give everything. So what's your perspective?
Well, for me, first and foremost, if I'm a few teams, I'm not trading for him. I don't care how great he is. If I'm Memphis, I would not give up Ja Morant for him. But
You pair that.
Yeah, thank you. I would try to get him if I'm Memphis, but you're not getting Ja Morant.
Yeah, but I will say, not to interrupt, Jaren Jackson Jr. just had foot surgery, so their package actually just
yeah. And I mean, for whatever it's worth,
the Nets weren't doing anything next year.
Yeah, but I mean, exactly. So that's what I was gonna say. But if I'm them, I'm trying to get KD again. I'm holding on to Ja. If I'm Phoenix, I'm holding on to Devin Booker. I'm not getting rid of Devin Booker for KD. KD's better, but Booker is younger, and Booker still has a high upside.
He
And
doesn't.
for whatever it's worth, get
He
mad
does
at
not
me
have
if
a
you want
high
to.
upside.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, for whatever it's worth, KD, as great as he is, he still needs a lot around him to be able to propel the team to that championship level, the same way most dominant scorers do. So, again, I give KD mad respect, but any team that he's going to succeed with needs that super floor general point guard, or they need another superstar that can run the show. Hence, what happened when James Harden came over to Brooklyn. It wasn't Kyrie and KD in Brooklyn that were killing. It was once James Harden got there, and that's when their season turned around. In the playoffs, my biggest annoyance with Brooklyn, more so Steve Nash, is that Goran Dragic was freaking running that offense the way they needed to be ran, and he couldn't get more minutes. So KD is a monster, but certain monsters need a system or a floor general type of guy in place to make their life easier. And I think that's what KD is. So when I'm saying, okay, who am I going to trade him for? You got to think about the teams that have that. Dame, I think, is perfect for him. You got Dame. If you can keep Nurkic too, a great big man that can. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember him in the bubble. That dude was blocking everything. He was block steals, facilitating. He was dominating.
Nurkic is a top 10 center in the league still.
Oh my God, yeah, he can do it all, right?
He
can do it all. He can facilitate. So if you can get Dame,
he's talking about Nurkic.
Jeremy Grant. I don't know what the hell they doing giving out $100 million to Anthony Simons, but that's
because he's a trade asset now. He's a trade asset. He's a
better be.
He's
like, damn, listen,
he's out of
I'm like, damn, they can give me 100 racks. I'll go now. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this: what if how many draft picks do the Phoenix Suns have?
Good question.
Does the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah, because I was wondering if they gave up DeAndre Ayton and 2 or 3 first-round draft picks and maybe another player outside of Devin Booker. Would that be enough? Yeah, Bridges. Would that be enough?
Bridges, you bring in Cam Johnson. You still got to add one more piece for KD, though.
And as I said, DeAndre Ayton, and you give them 3 first-round draft picks. Because also what that might be able to do is, I know he played horrible and it looks like he's breaking down. That might add another 2 years to Chris Paul's. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and KD?
Listen, though, I will say this, though.
I like it offensively.
It's tough. What makes this situation so tough for a team like Brooklyn is the fact that DeJounte Murray at 25 just went for 3 first-round picks to a team that probably didn't need another lead guard.
Didn't at all.
That's true.
And so it's like, if the Spurs can say legitimately our minimum is 3 first-round picks and a player, then if I am Brooklyn, I cannot accept anything less than that, and I need 2 to 3 players with it. I need young, like, even if we don't plan on doing anything, which I know, Trey, you mentioned, because I mean we can all be honest, and we haven't gotten to Kyrie yet, but we're gonna get to him in a minute, I'm sure. Is that Kyrie's gonna be on his way out of there too? Kyrie's not. I mean, they're obviously the way that the whole Kyrie situation, it rubbed KD wrong in some way. But I personally feel like KD, wherever KD goes, he wants to go somewhere not only that has a superstar, he wants to go somewhere that has a leader. That somewhere, because he don't want to do that. He don't want to do that. LA.
Hey, so question. Serious question.
So that I was gonna say, so like, where
Chicago
is LA the best situation for you guys? For
Chicago.
No, I think it can guarantee him
Chicago,
but how much? I think it'll guarantee him a championship, but I think the average person will say that championship doesn't hold much weight.
Chicago.
I think it's no different from him going to Golden State.
Why would you?
Huh?
Go to Golden State.
Yeah. And from his standpoint,
I would respect a reunion.
Yes. Well, this is what no. I don't want him. I'm saying if he wins one in LA, it's the same as him winning one in Golden State. What I mean by that is you're going to where you have another all-world talent. I look at KD and that's just always my problem with KD. It was my problem with Brown for a while. I look at them as all-world players, right? They don't need to really be playing with each other, right?
Yeah.
Like the same thing in my perfect world, the ideal place for KD would be to play with Giannis, right? and Milwaukee trades away Chris Middleton, and
yeah,
that would be amazing to watch. But KD and Giannis don't need to be playing together. The same way Bron and Wade didn't need to be playing together. Same way KD and Steph don't need to be playing together. So to see Bron, KD, and Kyrie together in LA and they win a chip, cool. But at the same time, I'm like, I think Bron needs one more valuable ring to pass Jordan. That would not be the ring that would help him pass Jordan. And for KD, that would not be the ring for me to say, okay, KD is in that realm of that top 10 players. I feel like that's a guaranteed championship if they team up. So that's why I'm like, it would look fun, but I don't think that championship will hold as much weight if all those guys get together.
Okay. Let me ask y'all this. Let me go.
Can I say something? I've been listening for a while, and it's a lot that's been said just now, right?
Go ahead.
Like way too much, in my opinion. So Freddie, I hear you. Okay. Kevin Durant going to play with LeBron James because of those two names. Like, yes, that sounds amazing. It's nothing like him going to the Golden State Warriors that had just went to the championship, to the finals, and beat him while he was up 3-1 like that. Like, those two things are nothing alike. We're talking about 30-year-old man going to play with another 35-plus-year-old man and a young guy who can't keep his legs together. The system of Golden State, when Kevin Durant went there,
they both just came off 30 point per game season, so that wasn't a mistake.
Can I?
Yep.
The system that Kevin Durant went to with Golden State, where he replaced Harrison Barnes as a standstill 3-point shooter, is not the same as him going to a Lakers team that did not reach the playoffs and had one of the worst defenses in the NBA, where Golden State did not. They just got finished firing a coach because it was not working well. Golden State was a well-oiled machine with star players. The Lakers got some old guys over there that once upon a time, LeBron had a great season last year, didn't win any games. Russell Westbrook had a better season than most of the NBA, didn't win any games. Anthony Davis played 20 of them, 20 out of the 82. Okay?
40.
They had one of the worst defenses in basketball.
No, let him finish. I want to respond, but I don't want to cut him off.
No, I'm letting him finish. I just getting those guys. You got
22.
I definitely have a response for that.
And it's two of your points that because the second was coming in a second, right? Yep. But comparing him going to the LA Lakers to him going to the Golden State Warriors is completely and utterly ridiculous. The star power, sure, but not really. Secondly, you said LeBron James need one more championship to go to knock off Jordan as the greatest of all time.
He's already the best ever. He's already the best ever.
That's just asinine. I'm not gonna lie.
He's already the best ever.
Okay, all right. We going.
We can talk about that. We can definitely have that debate one-on-one.
We'll save that.
You don't want to talk about that.
We can definitely have that debate one-on-one.
You don't want to have that.
I promise you, I've had this debate.
Before we go directly to Kyrie,
you don't want to have that.
Can I just answer what he said though? I'll be quick because I know other people want to speak, but I get what you're saying as far as
new segment.
Okay, I promise you, 15 seconds. Because I agree with what he said. Golden State had the system, came off of 73 wins, all of that. My point with that is this: Bron and KD are still in their prime, whether if we want to agree with it or not, right? Bron, KD, I guarantee. Listen, I guarantee if those three get together, they're going to be the favorites to win the title. It is what it is. So as much as you want to say about that, those three together are going to be favored to win the title. We can't deny that. I guarantee everybody's going to have them three. I'm going to tell you why, because they had Kyrie and KD alone being the favorites to win the title in Brooklyn. So that's my point. And Bron is my dog. So it's not like I obviously want him to win another one, but I just got to stay consistent with what I typically say. And a ring like that to me isn't as crazy. That's all I want to say.
Are we gonna talk about
I
Kyrie?
like this comment right here. The Lakers getting Kyrie and KD. I'm gonna lose my shit. These players have too much power. That would be interesting. So let's remove KD then. Like, should Kyrie go to the Lakers? Like, is that going to be good for him? Because he's already played with Bron, you know what I'm saying? We've already heard that spiel. You want to be the guy, you know what I'm saying? You want to have a good legacy, but yet you playing behind Anthony Davis and LeBron James now. You're going to be a third option. I don't know if it'll work.
On the last one, I used half my time to ask a question. And so I said Chicago for KD, and I'll say Chicago for Kyrie because I feel the same way.
A lot of you.
That's what I
thought
to hear.
you said. I thought you were saying Chicago
That's what I wanted
for
to hear.
Kyrie. So I'm glad you said
Chicago. It's like, and that's what's so crazy about the situation. There's so many scenarios out there. I personally don't feel like the Nets will be able to package $80 million and move it. I just don't think it's possible. But it's the NBA, and that's why we love it because they go backdoor on a lot of things and they make things happen. But I mentioned Chicago earlier for KD, and I think it'll be a place that maybe him and Kyrie can go. Because when we really look at Chicago, for example, right? If say I'm gonna just start with KD, not to go back to the last segment, but just to talk about both of them being moved, right? Right now, the sign and trade offer that they would be able to do is basically Zach LaVine for KD, similar to the Nets doing DeAndre Ayton for KD, just to kind of get up to that salary point, right? Because at the end of the day, you got to make the numbers match.
But you got to sign Zach first, though, right? Isn't he?
That's
what he got signed. He signed already. So a lot of
he signed with. Okay, I missed that.
A lot of
appreciate
signed already.
Yeah, and so you can do a sign and trade in that scenario, and you match those salaries. So then now I'm thinking, how do I get up to Kyrie's 37? And the only thing that I can see is if I move Alonzo Ball, Patrick Williams, Alex Caruso, and or Kobe White. That right there.
Kobe, they're already trying to move.
Right. And so Kobe was already in those discussions, right? So now Chicago has their picks. I think they actually might have had to give up a little bit when they got Lonzo. I'm not sure how that signing went when he went there in free agency. But I will say, though, I think Chicago very quietly may actually have the best package. Because if I'm Brooklyn, I don't know if I can be in a city or even in close proximity with a place like New York. Seeing the Knicks willingly being able to like offer Brunson 125, 120, 115, which is I agree.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I do feel like Chicago very quietly has the best package. And so my second team for a guy like Kyrie, the Pelicans. I think
that would actually be kind of fire.
I mean, obviously the Trailblazers couldn't make the double guard lineup work with Dame and CJ. But I don't know. Maybe we can see CJ and Kai, Zion. But you'll probably have to move it. If you want KD and Kyrie, you're going to have to move Zion. You're not keeping him. You're either going to have to give up Zion or BI. You know what I mean? You're going to have to give up one of those.
What's that, for Kyrie you're saying, or for one?
Yeah, but I'm saying if we're going straight Kyrie, though, then that's the thing, though, right? So
would you trade BI for Kyrie?
I personally would not. I think Kevin Durant tweeted it, and it is a fact. And I felt like this the last time we were all on the show. It is a wings league. So giving up because Brandon Ingram is not that far from other two-way wings in the league, legitimately. He can get a bucket better than Mikal Bridges, but he cannot defend as well as Jason Tatum. I put him kind of in that middle right there in between those guys. We're talking two-way wings. But I think you have to be willing, as a Brooklyn, you are going to be giving up two perennial all-stars at the end of the day regardless. You know what I mean? So you are going to have to take a loss on one of the deals. And so I think the deal to take a loss on, though, is the Kyrie deal. He signed a 1-year deal. You know what I mean? No matter where you send him, he is not no team, just like when he was trying to look for signing trades, no team legitimately thinks Kyrie will be able to give them 3 to 5 seasons if they give him an extension. And I don't think it's fair. I think it's fair if you look at it from a health standpoint, but that's the only thing where I think it's fair. I think the whole like him being able to like we mentioned Stephen A earlier when Byron was talking about Jordan's take, but like I don't think it's fair how guys look at Kyrie in the media. I think at the end of the day, he's a perennial all-star, and he's one of the few all-stars who stands on something. He just don't show up to work sometimes when he's doing it. And I don't show up to work all the time. But like I ain't standing on something when I do it. It's PTO. I'm getting paid. You know what I mean? I'm getting paid. I got PTO. I don't know how it works when you making $37 million, but I'm just saying. I feel like if you are going to look at it from a team's organization perspective of his health, it's fair. But I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all take it from there. I just think the Nets are in the worst situation. Being in 2019, they signed these guys. They sit out the bubble. And now 2 years later, after making all of these asinine deals, we're back to square one. And like somebody mentioned, like I'm going back to get every pick I lost. Period. I'm not.
Yeah, but that's a little tough though. Like I can't
have
see
2 picks every season.
Like
I don't care.
That's going to be tough. Like, does anybody have a situation outside the Bulls? Because I want to say Toronto to be for Kyrie because I want to say Toronto, but he's not vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna be it's tough. I would love to say the Cavs too, but I don't think
I thought you could play. I thought you could. Is that only New York that was letting people play? If you
Toronto said if you're not vaccinated, you can't play too.
And that's for away teams too.
You got to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Trey. Questions. That question was, where should he go?
Where should Kyrie go?
Oh, okay, gotcha. Milwaukee or LA?
Milwaukee or LA. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I like the
Jordan,
short.
you said LA earlier, right?
You said me.
Pretty odd.
Yeah, you said LA earlier.
I don't remember saying. Sure. I don't want to.
No, I was asking
because the last thing he said was ridiculous. But yeah,
I'll say
LA, and you just
y'all have to handle that off camera.
I'm not saying that. That's what it is.
Because I don't know what this is talking about.
I don't want to take up.
Can I say my take, Freddie?
Let him answer. That's gonna drag it on.
Can I say? I can't hear myself think right now. Listen, I said the Los Angeles Lakers. I said the Los Angeles Lakers. As my team for Kyrie Irving to go to. The other team that I would have wanted, but they just picked up John Wall, is the Clippers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Just because of what they have over there.
Could it work out? It wouldn't work out with him and John Wall, with Kawhi and PG, because Paul George is John Wall 2. Kyrie is a 2 that is in the 1's body. So theoretically, it could.
No. Kyrie is a perennial 3 in a 1's body. Yeah, he's a perennial 3 in a 1's body.
Right.
So I don't think that could work. Not because of the defensive aspect of it, but because when you have because I believe they still have RJ over there, Reggie Jackson. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right.
Yeah, but you'd have to get rid of him if you're getting Kyrie.
Okay, cool, right? But him and John Wall and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, you have 3 guys who are ball dominant scorers, and then you have a ball dominant point guard with all 3 of those separate ball dominant scorers. So you can't start all 4 of them, right? Now the reason why I said that he could go there, barring John Wall being there, is you could try to mold Kyrie back into some form of a point guard position because he can play that, right? Where he can be a ball distributor on that team. And he could just be the one that brings it down, or Paul George can be the one that brings it down. And they can all kind of not so much take turns with it, but they can run a very effective triangle-like offense with those 3 types of scorers, right? But with John Wall on that team, the way that he plays, running up and down with Kyrie, who's ISO heavy, Paul George, who's ISO heavy, Kawhi, that's ISO heavy, all 3 of them, I don't think that could work.
Okay.
I will say, checking out the salaries though, Clippers is another team. I didn't think about them. Clippers actually do. You can move guys like Marcus Morris, Luke Kennard, Terrence Mann, BJ Boston. If I'm a GM, I'm going to get BJ just because he did shine kind of in those last 10 games. You know what I mean? He hooped. Against Boston, I mean, listen, honestly, if you were a guy who won't get no minutes and you play Boston, you had a great game. We gave guys their hoop mixtape. You know what I mean? He had damn near 40 against us, excuse me. But
y'all was getting people paid.
Could actually do something in terms of salaries. That's a good call out.
Yeah, I was thinking bring John off the bench because to be honest with you, John's injury prone. He didn't play last year, so he's not the same all-star John Wall that was helping drag the Wizards along, that trash of an organization, to the playoffs. But speaking of the Wizards again, Sharper, where do you think should go?
Y'all see how this is going, right? Hey, Reese, you see how this is going, right?
Hey, Sharp, I'm gonna be honest. Trey is coming at you like this because before we went live, I absolutely said, because we're talking about the Wizards later on, I absolutely said it's tough to talk about poverty franchises because I don't know what the fucking. Excuse me. I don't know what is going on in Washington. It's tough talking about teams where it just seems like y'all are always straddling.
You know what? I will say
we may change the segment to the Mystics. I don't know yet.
Well, no. Here we go. Now, I will say that conversation about Bradley Beal's situation for when we get to the Wizards, because something Perk and Richard Jefferson were talking about. But with Kyrie, the Clippers, I know he now has matured with his thought process. Like he's bounced around. He was with the Celtics, he was with the Nets, and I think he does. I mean, we all saw that podcast he did with Adam Pac-Man Jones and LaShawn McCoy, and they were just talking about, if you and LeBron would have stayed together, how many championships do you think y'all would have won? And he was he was like, basically, my mind is in LA right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You want to be
there with the Clippers? Could be with the Lakers? I can see, like y'all said, maybe Kyrie going to the Bulls.
I think that's a.
Does that make them a title contender though? You think the Bulls can win a championship with Kyrie and DeMar being the two top players?
So your situation though, they have to lose. They have to lose Zach in that situation if they're just getting Kyrie. You think?
Yeah.
I think if you're replacing Zach though, if you're replacing Zach for Kyrie, that's okay.
I mean, if you could keep Zach LaVine, and you can get rid of Ball and Caruso and maybe some draft picks. I
like Lonzo. I'd
rather have Lonzo than Kyrie on that roster, though.
I'm about to say it's not impossible. You think about Lonzo, Ayo Dosunmu, then you got Alex Caruso. But the problem is with any contender going to get KD or Kyrie, your depth is what you're losing. In free agency, all of this hit the fan the day free agency started. So the entire deals that were already kind of cut and dry happened, and they're happening as the day is going on today. But everybody else in the league is really sitting and waiting. What is KD and Kyrie like? What's going to happen?
Well, think about when the Brooklyn Nets blew up. You know who they had before, because y'all remember. When they tried to
Jonathan,
D'Lo, y'all remember they got all those draft picks. Yeah, they had a nice little squad. They had Dinwiddie, they had all those players that went on to other teams. Went on to other teams and have excelled. Now they still got Joe Harris, who's solid. They got Curry, but other than that, bro, their bench is pretty much depleted. They got rid of all these players.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, they try to really hustle when they had Darren Williams, Paul Pierce, and KG and everything. Then they shipped them out with all these.
Shout out to Danny Ainge, the GOAT.
Yeah. Like it seems like now they're trying to.
He's already in jail for that robbery he committed. Or all the robberies committed. I'm sorry.
Now they're trying to rebuild again. They're hitting that reset button again. And so I just feel bad because look, one thing I will say about the Wizards, we can BS and joke around. We ain't going to no championship no time soon. But the Brooklyn Nets,
that's not true. That is not
probably
true. Y'all can buy some.
Raise your hand.
Y'all may be able to get KD, right?
Hey, look, KD to DC. That's happening. KD to DC.
I like KD going home. That's what he should be instead of going to the Warriors.
I'm sure he'll visit.
Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie. When DC wasn't on the list, I was hot as shit. When my French,
I was surprised
when DC wasn't up there. I was like, bruh, look, you got your championships. You know what I'm saying? I told Trey that's the reason why we gave Otto Porter all that money years ago to compensate for us losing out on KD. Why don't he come back home? He got his rings. Maybe he was seeing what Bradley Beal was gonna do. We ain't got no money, you know what I'm saying, to really do anything.
Didn't y'all just sign Brad to
$251 million, 5 years?
Yeah.
That man's
so that's crazy.
Great grandkids gonna be crazy.
Otto Porter sound like he need to thank Kevin Durant then because he got his contract.
I think
he got the
he got the
big
big bag.
KD.
And he got the ring
what's so crazy and so sad
too.
What's so crazy and so sad about Brooklyn and the Knicks? We're talking about the Mecca. I want the Mecca. When the Mecca has good ball, the NBA is better. I will go 30 with anybody. When the Mecca has good ball, the NBA is hype.
In the parks.
You can go to Rucker.
He said Emeka Okafor. Oh, let me throw my hat on my draft. My draft day
has good ball.
Emeka Okafor.
It's when you go inside the building, more so the stadium. That's when you.
Dog said Rutgers.
Yeah.
We talk about the Drew League. The Drew League was not on the list of topics today.
No, the Drew League is in LA.
Yeah.
Talking about the Rucker right now.
Yeah.
Drew League on the West. So you missed your mark.
Exactly.
That's tough.
Hey, but look,
Seattle got the crossover.
I'm kind of glad though that Reese, you mentioned the Bulls earlier though. Because like and strictly speaking about this one player, fellas, should Zach LaVine want to re-sign with the Bulls? Like, should he want to?
No.
Like, is that no? Is that no love? No love for the Bulls from Zachy?
I think
we got it. Yeah, okay.
I think yeah.
I employ the listeners to go look at Zach LaVine every time DeMar DeRozan hit a game-winning shot, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say nothing else.
What he does?
Go look at Zach LaVine every time DeMar hit a game-winning shot. I'm saying nothing else.
How much is Zach LaVine? How much is he pushing for? How much does he want?
It's gonna be like 200. That's
more than we can have.
Probably,
I mean, you gotta think about it though. It's based on kind of inflation and all of that. Like these guys over the next, like when we in 10 years, cats are gonna be signing for $500,000 who probably shouldn't even be ever
That's
big.
That's $1 billion.
That's
y'all. My fault. Yeah.
Hey, did y'all hit? I mean, Shaq thought about it. Shaq made a comment. He was like, "Yo, when a lot of people like KD think we're taking shots because Charles Barkley called him out, and he was like, "Yo, think about it from our perspective. Hall of Famers, we didn't." He said Dennis Scott, the most he got, Dennis Scott was 45% from the 3-point line. The most he got was $7.9 million.
Yeah,
and you got dudes now getting $35, $45 million. For doing what? For doing what?
Patty Mills just signed a $16 million extension.
Man,
I mean, that tells you it.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't even want to hear about Patty Mills. We just signed PJ Tucker to 33.
33.
And on top of that, and that boy about 40, he ain't really been productive for the last year. Now and then
he was productive 2 years ago.
Rudy Gobert can't make a layup.
My man, the sneaker king though, PJ.
Bro, I don't give a
talk about sneakers.
Jordan.
Talk about sneakers though. You got guys like Bradley Beal who cannot afford to go to other teams to win championships because he ain't got a sneaker deal.
Hey, don't be taking my tape because
you ain't saying
nah, I said I was getting there, damn it.
Brad don't have no sneaker deal. He gotta stay.
Which is why he gotta stay there for that 250. Sadly. And I'm saying sadly for Bradley Beal, not for the Washington Wizards. No disrespect to that weird ass hat you got on, but y'all ain't never winning. Because y'all ain't never winning. It's just the truth.
Hey, look. You say I'm faithful.
Hey, wait a minute. This episode.
Hey Trey. I need you to do a graphic of a.
Look. Hold up, Jordan. I'm brave enough to walk in public with this hat though, in daylight. I walk with this hat proud.
And I want you to know, I respect your stupidity.
Oh shit!
Because I wouldn't do it.
Shoot.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
All right, cool. So that's enough about the Washington Weirders.
Go ahead.
That's enough about the Washington Weirders.
Wow. Kill this.
Let's go Mystics. Let's go Mystics.
Hey, where y'all been?
Exactly. Facts.
Hey.
I was there. Where y'all was at?
They were there watching.
I was watching.
Talk your talk, man. Talk your talk.
Trey, no, I'm a Mystics fan.
Where y'all?
Hey,
I was there.
I've been a Mystics fan since Shamika Holdsclaw. I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, and I've never seen the Wizards win more than 30 games.
Here we go.
So, I mean,
Hey,
all
right, so look, fellas.
I'm gonna pour some more Crown into my. Let me drink some.
We got Crown.
This episode is sponsored by.
Right, everybody take a sip.
Oh my Lord!
Man.
All right, so now
Yeti.
we got the
Ready with
Pelicans.
the Yeti.
Fellas, we got the Pelicans. I thought it was interesting that somebody said trade Zion, and I didn't want to mention it too much because we're talking about it now. But is it time to trade Zion or consider trading my man Sharper? We'll let you start it off.
I mean, what we talking about? Ironically, Jordan, right? Jordan was talking about sneakers. My favorite sneaker brand is Jordan. Who is Zion signed to?
Jordan.
So the fact that this, you know how you mentioned about how Bradley Beal don't have a sneaker deal, right? The fact that this man Zion has a second shoe coming out, and how many games has he played in? How many games has he played in total?
How many tickets has he sold though?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, but okay. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, because just like how we were talking about KD to the Pelicans, and they were talking about, because again, NBA today with their special free agent special they had going on, they were talking about, do you trade a KD like the Pelicans? Because some people feel like in the organization they're starting to lose their patience with Zion because he can't get his weight together or what's going on with that situation. Yes, he's been compared to a young Charles Barkley. The thing is that
Barkley
how long
exactly
if Barkley and how long
baby.
Exactly, but how long do you hold on to that potential? How long do you hold on to that potential? Like, that's the thing. Do you trade him for a KD? Do you trade him up? Be like, hey, look, man, look, we wish you the best of luck, but we're going to trade you to an organization that's rebuilding. Yes, we took a chance on you, but I wish my man Byron was still here that played in the NFL, because you see it in the NFL a lot. You know, you see a lot of teams jump and get a quarterback or a player that they think is a franchise-changing player that, you know what I'm saying, they end up being bust. Sometimes you got to bite the bullet. You know, I'm a big Buckeye fan, right? I guarantee you Portland wishes they had KD instead of Greg Oden, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, and the irony in that, though, KD possibly going to Portland, where Portland's like, damn, we could have had, but we could have had him instead of Oden. You know what I'm saying? So
Jordan,
it's like, how long do you hold on to that potential and the possibility of what he can become?
That's a great call out.
Yeah, Jordan. Jordan, what you gonna say?
Before I say it, I'm gonna say, Sharper, you hit the nail right on the head, right? And I fully agree with that, right? So we're talking about what if the Pelicans should trade Zion, and I personally think that Zion should trade his sneaks for cleats, because he is an NFL athlete. I'm sorry, like, the man, if he's in the wrong sport, he can eat all he wants playing for the New Orleans Saints.
all the beignets and crawfish.
Hey, listen, all the crawfish, he can go Tigers. Okay,
the gumbo, jambalaya.
He can have
what position would he play in football for you? What position?
Bro, listen,
edge rusher. Edge rusher.
I'm about to say,
like, tight end.
Edge rusher or tight end. Edge rusher or tight end.
He's 6'6", 280. He got solid vert.
Hey,
quick on the feet, good footwork. Hey, I'm
not about to allow you to put a 2 in front of his weight. I'm not allowed. I'm not
because you're right. Because I'm lying. He about 389. The
Thank
ball in about 450. The ball about 450.
308 bare minimum. I'm giving him 308 minimum.
Yeah, that man is not small. He's built like a basketball. The man is big. Like, he don't need to be playing. He don't need to be playing basketball, bro. The stress on his knees from carrying that weight is not gonna have a long career. At least if in the NFL he'd be running straight or to the side. If he's a professional athlete, that's what he should be.
So we got trade him. So we got to trade him, then we got to go into that. Have him go.
Hey, somebody has said, you know, they had conspiracy theorists thinking is he trying to eat his way out of New Orleans?
James Harden tried that. You don't have to eat your way. Just put the Big Mama suit on. You don't
that's what I was
just put the suit on. Yeah, you don't got to eat your way out no more. Just put the Big Mama suit on.
Hattie made Pierce.
And listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. As soon I'm talking, if KD said at 4 p.m. today that I am requesting a trade, I would be, if I'm the Pelicans, Zion will be signing that $250 million extension at 401. Okay, because he will be up out of there. If there were questions on do we extend Zion, the answer is yes, because we're extending him out the door. Thank you. Do not let it hit you with the good Lord split.
So then, Freddie, let me ask you this then, since like you kind of, you're a Knicks fan, so maybe you can understand how like an organization might make a bad move potentially. Would you trade for Zion?
Everybody's comedians today, huh? Hey, don't make me come up here and Will Smith you, man.
Keep my Knicks out your mouth.
Wizards.
Hey, Trey, and it makes sense to hear Nick Bay because he don't respect legends. It's the thing. I'm starting to realize a trend for young men. That's it.
Well, hold up. Let's figure out everybody's team.
It's too late. It's too late to throw technicals. Ain't no timeout. It's too late to throw tees. It's too late.
I know Trey's a Lakers fan.
I gotta hear from Freddie. though. Would you make the trade? Would you make the trade if you're the Nets? Would you make the trade for Zion?
If I'm a Knick?
Yeah. No, not Knicks. If you're the Nets.
We
the Knicks don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but if you're the Nets in this current situation,
it's sad when you get happy about a Jalen Brunson signing, but we're not going to go there. I'm sorry.
What y'all supposed to get KD and Kyrie?
Listen, man,
and Zion too. But I ain't want.
Don't do this to me right now, man. Listen. Don't do this to me right now, bro. I'm very fragile.
They called me trigger. Shots fired. Bang bang.
At approximately 9:11 p.m., guy was verbally gunned down. All right, listen, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I would do it. And if I'm New Orleans, I would do it. There's not many teams I would actually go and trade Zion for one of their star players, but Brooklyn is one because you have CJ McCollum and you have BI locked in. So, I mean, KD's 34, I expect KD to play another 5 years, man. He got talent that you can't teach, right? So even if
height,
exactly, a pure shooting ability, height, and great IQ, right? So even if, let's say, KD just falls off a cliff, right? You still have CJ McCollum and BI, because I personally think Zion is gonna be just fine. Like I say, he's a huge guy. I think his issues. I mean, you look at Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook. Those explosive players with those fast twitch fibers and all that. I don't think nobody's body is supposed to do the things that their body do, which is why they all get hurt. I mean, big or small, anyone with that explosiveness gets hurt. So I don't think it is as much as Zion weight as it is just the dude blew out his shoe. You know what I'm saying? So I think he'll be fine.
Look at
Joel Embiid, look at Steph Curry, Joel and Steph, more recent players. Early in their career, man, injury. Steph almost got traded a couple times because of it. I think there'll come a point where Zion finds the right training, schedule, the right trainer, so to speak, he got to figure out the right weight to play at, which matters. We talked about this on the last one. I told y'all. The right weight, figure out what's your good playing weight. Once he masters that and
then get under it.
Yeah. For sure.
But
once he figures that out,
you know what? Hey, Zion. Look, let me tell you, there's a couple cities that Zion can't be in. New Orleans is one. He need to be at like in Utah, where there ain't nothing to eat out there. He need to be like in Utah. Like he can't be in New York. He can't be in DC. My man will be at Ben's Chili Bowl. I don't know how many nights. You know what I'm saying?
He never go to LA.
He can't come to Lakers. He can't be in Chicago.
He's not going to DC.
I'm just saying. He can't.
He's gonna turn it into a chocolate city. Yeah.
Pause.
Go to Memphis.
Pause. That sounded very wild. Pause. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. We're gonna move forward.
Let's move forward with the show. Let's move forward with the show.
We about to take another sip. We about to take another sip.
Trey.
Hold on, I had a serious
See, about to turn into a
real quick.
Hey, let's move forward with the show. We gotta edit that out. We gotta edit that out.
Serious thing. Listen,
we gotta edit that out.
Listen.
He's about to turn into a chocolate city.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yo, y'all took that the worst way possible. I had to pause it, man.
No, you said that's the worst way possible.
Yeah. I knew y'all started taking the worst way possible.
You gotta go to the Hawks. You gotta go to the Hawks. We've said enough about the Pelicans. Go to the Hawks.
Yeah, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. We gotta edit that part out.
Let's move on.
Hey, wait. Are you saying they call him Chocolate City Thunder?
No, man.
Yo, whoa.
All right, sorry. You gotta go now. You gotta go.
Oh,
you gotta go.
Do you have that power?
Mute this man's mic.
Trey, if you don't kick him, I'm leaving. You
got the show under control, man. Oh man. Jeez, I need
all right, so the Hawks.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, let's go.
Hawks.
What about the Hawks, buddy?
Oh, snap. Yo.
Hey Trey, since you already said the Hawks, let me just give everybody their potential starting lineup next season. Trae Young at the 2. I said his name first, but I personally think he's going to be running the 2. Murray at the 1, Hunter at the 3, Collins bar no trades at the 4, Clint Capella bar no trades at the 5. That's what they're looking at. And we're talking Kevin Huerter and Bogdanovich is their 6th and 7th man with Gallinari out of the door. That's tough.
What about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like that. My question
I just want to introduce the lineup. Whoever wants to take it from there, go ahead.
So with that being said, should they look to just try and build off this team, like, and hopefully a couple of their young pieces, work the way the Warriors did it, or should they look to make another trade? Because I was thinking Kevin Durant possibly might want to take a little peek at Atlanta. I'm not gonna lie to you, it could work.
In my opinion, I don't think that they should put all their eggs into this team because I don't think DeJounte Murray is staying. Personally, like the reason he got traded was not because he wanted to go to Atlanta. It was a similar situation to Jimmy Butler. He was going to leave, and they couldn't let him go for nothing.
Yep.
Right. So they traded him before he left. Right. Just like we saw in Philly, you move a guy before he walks, don't mean he ain't gonna step off from somewhere. So with him being, especially in Atlanta, where you got Trae Young, who is a very great shooter, but he's a point guard. And he's a point guard that can't guard nothing, right? So you're gonna put him again next to DeJounte Murray. He's a great defensive point guard, right? But when you look at a guy like Trae Young, his player comparison is like a Stephen Curry. DeJounte Murray, his player comparisons are somewhere along the lines of like a Penny Hardaway with his height, but he's really more of a Gary Payton with his defense and his fast break ability, right? How the hell do you think that's going to work?
And because I love stats, I have to mention Trae Young, 4th in total turnovers per game, led the league at 303 turnovers. Now, DeJounte Murray, 37th in turnovers per game, had 180. So I do think the Hawks saw that they had to get somebody
to get the ball out of his hand.
Other than Trae, I'm not sure if lead.
Yeah, well, that's what any 6-foot guard who has a high usage rate, right? Naturally, if you're not about to say
it was only Trae.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see a lot more double teams. You can't pass over the top of a defense. You got to pass.
Jason Tatum.
Yeah. So
how long is Murray in for the Hawks right now?
My fault.
It's 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So I can see that.
The reason why I asked that is because, kind of Jordan, what you were saying about you see players that franchises or organizations know that those players are about to hand them their walking papers, like I'm about to peace out. You look at Senate. Exactly. You look at now, sometimes it works out for the player and the receiving organization. Look at what happened with San Antonio and Toronto with Kawhi. Kawhi was there for 1 year, but damn, he made that 1 year a great one with them winning. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, I mean,
Great year. Phenomenal.
But how often does that happen though?
It's not going to happen in Atlanta.
Exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I totally agree with what you just said. Like, how often do you see where I forgot what San Antonio got in for return for that, but Toronto, they got a championship.
DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, so DeMar DeRozan, yeah.
For Kawhi.
Yeah, and it's
so
and,
let me.
And, oh, I was just going to say one last thing in the caveat.
Go.
Even with Kawhi Leonard winning the championship, he still walked. Jimmy Butler, one bounce short of a championship, walked. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, if I'm looking at this scenario the way I've seen it before, this guy is 25 years old, just got his first All-Star nod last year, right? If I'm not mistaken, off of injury, but he's still an All-Star, averaging 18, 8, and 9 on his own squad. He want the max, but he's not trying to be over here arguing with Trae Young for the ball.
Right.
I don't think he's staying. Just like with Jimmy Butler, it's like I'm over there. I got Ben over here that I'm not really 100% rocking with, being fair. Toby, I'm also not 100% rocking with, being fair, right? And these are the guys they choose. All right, I'm gonna be out. If I got Trae Young, I don't see how the two of those guys work well together. Gary Payton, Steph Curry, those are the type of guys that these are. And I'm talking about Harvard.
Like, and to give stats again, as the stats guy, we're talking usage rate. Trae Young, 4th at 34%, 34.4%. DeJounte Murray, now this is very interesting, and I kind of feel like somebody has to talk to this. He's ranked 25th at 27%. That's all All-Star players. So think about the top 5 players: Luka, Joel, Giannis, Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell. And so we got DeJounte Murray, who was just shit, and arguably the only reason why they were possibly in a play-in conversation, only at 27%, pairing up with a guy at Trae Young at 34%. Thinking about two duos, you got Jason Tatum, 32%, Jaylen Brown, 30%. So even if they can kind of cut that down to similar, it's tough though, and I will say a lot tougher with 2 point guards.
Thank you.
Well, so
I actually JT are 6'5" and 6'10", 6'1", 6'5".
Does it remind you of
Freddie? What you about to say?
Harden and Westbrook together a few years ago?
Who?
Too high.
Nah.
Yeah. High usage rate guys. I mean, they whatever it's worth.
Actually,
with Capella as well.
Well, you got to think about it though. Because there was a reason why James Harden didn't work as a starter. I think that's actually not a bad comp because Trae Young, DeJounte, James Harden, and Russ. Not saying that they are actually comparable in terms of because neither like Russell Westbrook and James Harden were not two-way players. But I'm saying in terms of usage rate, I think that's a great call out though because there was a reason why James Harden only worked off of the bench because you had to give him the ball.
Well,
except for in Houston.
I'm talking.
Yeah, I was about to say, and it worked with him and CP3 in Houston too. So
what are we defining worked?
But okay, so, wait.
It was manageable. Let's say it was manageable.
Okay, Sharp. I like manageable.
I mean that Rockets team with CP3 like could have beat the Warriors. So.
We're talking about a point guy.
Okay, listen. Now hear me out. Here's the one caveat where I can't agree. Trae Young is 6'1". Both Russell Westbrook and James Harden are 6'4" and 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
So though they're not defensive players, they are not defensive liabilities. Just by virtue of height alone, they can stick in front of most guys.
Height, athleticism, weight.
You know what I'm saying? Trae Young really can't guard nothing. He plays defense from 35 feet on the offensive end.
If I'm
Trae Young on that other side,
and I see Jalen Brunson styling at the Knicks, that's tough because he is 6'1" guard who's going to be going at Trae Young as a 6'1" guard.
He gonna punch
Brunson go at anybody, man. He take
Brunson gonna punch.
Thank you. I think Brunson is a dog. I think Brunson is a dog. Yeah. I think Brunson's a dog, but Trae Young don't have that defensive dog in him. Like we really think about it. We're talking about Steph Curry,
but he has that offense.
Steph Curry benching 100-pound dumbbell.
So I'll admit, I have a boy that's who I went to college with, who's from Atlanta, so he's a Hawks fan, and he's kind of frustrated because he kind of talked about everything y'all were talking about. He said, "Can I be honest with you, man? He said, "I want to keep it a buck with you." He said, "You're a Wizards fan. Our whole division outside of the Hornets that are
Lonnie Walker
building,
just went to the Lakers."
He said, yo, we some trash. Like our division with the Hawks, the Magic, the Heat, the Hornets, the Wizards. He said, bro, we just trying to keep up with the Heat and the Hornets because what they got in with the Hornets, I know Bridges has his little situation going on, but they got something special with Melo. We're trying to build up to that. And unless players are coming down for the strippers in Atlanta, we're not really a big landing destination.
Hey, it's the Wings.
It's the Wings. Okay.
It's the Wings.
It's the Wings. Okay.
It's the Wings.
I know good strippers going to LA. That's all I'm saying. It's the Wings in ATL.
Hey.
Lemon pepper.
Talk about it.
But he was just like, bro, I just feel like this is just us, because with NBA teams, when you win your division, they hang up a little banner, in the arena, whatever have you. And they hang that up, and then once you get to the conference final, and he said also actually he thought maybe them getting Murray would help limit Trae Young's turnover rate because he won't feel like he has to do too much and over exceed what he's trying to do. Because sometimes, we all know he's a great playmaker, but sometimes he does more than a little bit, and then he ends up turning the ball over because he's trying to force too much. He's trying to do too much.
With the NBA rule transition happening last year, I will say guys like him, CP3, James Harden, you saw a difference, but I personally feel like Trae Young bounced back the quickest. I don't think it's a coincidence that he's the youngest though. That to bounce back from that because it's kind of like
right.
You know what I mean? When you're studying that referee book as all good players did. Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you say bounce back, are you talking
his points per game? His free throws per game. Although his free throws dropped, his points per game straddled. Whereas guys like CP3 and James Harden, you kind of saw a more of a roller coaster. That's what I say bounce back.
So you're saying compared to those two?
Yeah, specifically to guys that we think of utilizing those rules. Because we saw it in the playoffs, which I hated. CP3 basically fouling out on old rules.
But do you think Nate McMillan, the coach change, had something to do with that? Them implementing a new system kind of to make things a little easier for Trae? Because the way Trae played, especially versus my Knicks, was pissing me off. He wasn't even playing real basketball. He was literally running down full speed, stopping and jumping backwards into people.
But you gotta think about it. I will say, and I agree, he did use that to his advantage. A lot of guys were using those rules to their advantage. And that's why the NBA had to shift.
James Harden.
Right. That's why the NBA had to shift again. And that's what makes the NBA, kind of genuine, is that you can tell that they're taking on fan criticism. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I went to go see Giannis play the Hornets in person. The Hornets can't play defense worth anything. And the whistle was being blown every minute because the Hornets just cannot play defense.
And that's why so many players now say only 10 players currently in the NBA could have played when Jordan and Magic and Isaiah Thomas played. I would say that hands down.
Thing ever. Yeah.
Like
I will say this.
I will say this. Can I ask y'all? Hold on. Can I ask y'all a legit question? Just real quick. Can I ask y'all a legit question?
Well, if Reggie Miller played, depending on the question, we may have to push it to the end of the segment.
No, I got you. Hold on. If Reggie Miller played in this time and era right now, would he be a better all-around scorer than Steph Curry? Because think about how Reggie Miller was going up, coming up.
Steph Curry is a top 3 scorer in the league today.
I'm saying with the shooting though, because they were more physical in the 90s.
I know what you were saying. Steph Curry is a top 3 scorer in the league.
I'm not trying to discredit anything from Steph. I'm just saying.
No, I know you're not.
I'm just
Reggie Miller is not there.
Sounds like a no.
No, yeah,
it sounds like a no all the way around.
There are 6'6" guys who can shoot in the league today. Steph Curry was not the name you should have said, is what I'm gonna say. I think he is a legitimate. We're talking about Trey, you've heard this.
No, we got it. No, I think we all agree on that.
Okay, I
just wanted Joel's point of view.
No, I get you. Like, I actually think you might have had like a better comparison if you had said Bradley Beal, which is the segue into the Wizard segment.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
no. Well, no. This is a genuine question. This is a legitimate question, and I'm.
Hey, you ever?
I was just trying to segue to the Wizards, so that was the reason why I just wanted to do that. Yeah, that was why. That was all. But
and it was smooth. And it was smooth, Mr. Host. It was smooth.
I appreciate you.
That was a smooth transition. Okay.
So I was talking with a homeboy, and he was telling me that Bradley Beal is not. Again, it's his words, not mine. Bradley Beal is trash. And I was like, that's a little tough. Why are we saying that? And he's like, well,
who said that?
You know, one of my homeboys, former coworker. I'm cool with him. You know, he don't like.
They fired him after that. That's why
you need better friends, though.
No,
he formed because they fired his ass after that one.
But look though. He was like, well, you know, Brad Beal hasn't done anything, this, that, and the third. I'm like, well, I mean, I can't speak on much playoff success, but he's a lot of cats have not done anything. You know what I'm saying? Like what? It's like, but now when I look at other stars, other all-stars, we judge them kind of harshly. But then we look at Brad Beal, and I mean, like we joked about the Wizards, but like, I mean, the organization has not really done anything. So are we being
just like the Hawks? I'm gonna give the projected starting five: Monte Morris, Bradley Beal, Will Barton, KP, Daniel Gafford, in my opinion.
So Reese, this is what they said. This is what they said. They said Morris at the point, Bradley Beal. They said Barton, Kuzma,
right,
at the 4, and then play KP at the 5. Let me tell you.
Kuzma's not going to be a Wizard for long. I don't know if y'all noticed why he wasn't.
Second best player, third best player.
The reason why I say that is because
second best player.
You know, the jury's still out on Rui. We don't know what Rui can bring. Denny declined to play in the summer. We've been trying to get him to play in the summer league. You know, he declined. He has decided to go back overseas with Israel, and he's gonna work out with Amari Stoudemire. I don't know what that's gonna do. I know Amari did a little bit with playing in Israel.
Isn't he on the Nets coaching staff?
He left.
He got out of that mess.
He left.
Okay.
Yeah, he left.
Oh, okay.
So
hey, y'all got Thomas Bryant too now.
Well, I think I like Thomas Bryant. The thing is, Thomas Bryant, he's like Zion with the health issue. You don't know. No, I was so hyped when we got him from the Lakers because they said his talent was so raw. So
listen, I
just like to steer. I would just like to steer this conversation
Anthony
back to
Davis
the segment. I just wanted to say that.
Hey, can we talk? Can we talk either about Bradley Beal or about winning basketball? I don't want.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Here's the thing. So Bradley. So here's the thing.
Hold on. We're gonna do it like this because we're gonna stay on subject. If someone other than Sharper talk first. So Freddie, go ahead. Go ahead. And Freddie, I don't know why we haven't been leading with you. You got the NBA expertise. Go ahead.
What is the question about Brad Beal?
Yeah, are we too lax on Brad Beal or are we too harsh on Brad Beal?
No, I don't think we're too lax because when we talk about the top 10 players in the league, top 15, we don't put him in that top 10. I mean, for whatever it's worth, he's won some. He plays for, if not one of the worst organizations. And
it's the
to be fair, his organization is also in contention for that award. So I like
y'all about to say the Knicks are definitely up there too. So yeah, that was fair.
Well, so I like how he did that.
hey, we always find a way to stay relevant. Okay, so I mean, for whatever it's worth,
sure. Y'all love
a bad relevant though.
It
But
is what it is.
bad
I
press.
can say
Bad
this.
press.
Bradley Beal.
Listen, I can say this.
Bradley Beal. My fault. Bradley Beal.
Yeah, when we say this, championships, we have those. We've been to the finals, and so we got you at least have that for us. Right?
The NBA is better when the Mecca is good. I'll say it again.
Yeah, for sure. 2013.
The NBA ain't been better for a long ass time.
We were good a couple years ago, though. But let's stay on track. I mean, I'm trying to.
My fault.
Like,
Go ahead.
Brad Beal, again, he plays for one of the worst organizations in NBA history, right? So he's doing so much heavy lifting. They haven't brought him in crazy help, right? He's still putting up his numbers. When John Wall was there, when he had a co-star, they were making the playoffs. They were competitive. Yeah. Like, they were relevant. But think about it. He hasn't played with John Wall in years, right?
But do we think?
So I can't really say, because we don't talk about him as a top 10 player, right? Maybe
should the Wizards have been more aggressive with Westbrook? I want you to answer that question. Because they had Westbrook and Beal. Should they have been more aggressive with assembling that roster? Because I feel like they kind of just accepted with Russ from the Rockets. But I feel like, I mean, you look at it, Bradley Beal was like fourth or like third, really second when it comes to scoring.
After Steph Curry, right. Because of he had Westbrook. I mean, look what he did when he had John Wall. People tried to bring the same argument that people bring with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or with Dame and CJ. John Wall and Bill were fine. They just needed to fill that roster out. They never went to fill that roster out.
They never had that wing. They never had that wing.
For whatever it's worth, one thing we always forget is that certain players, certain teams are not going to have ultimate success because of the eras they play in, right? So if you're happen to always running into Derrick Rose, LeBron James, Celtics, then it is you're going to get knocked out. You can't get if you're getting knocked out by quality teams, then it's like okay, right? Like every player is not going to have ultimate success, even though there's very good players.
I just so
like you can sneak one in there
to stay on course of the topic, right? Because I'm talking about if Brad Beal, if we're not harsh enough, or if we're too harsh on Brad Beal, I think honestly, it's no. I think he's just kind of right where he needs to be. Because when you look at other guys who are in similar positions, right? Damian Lillard, right? Damian had CJ. Damian Lillard was also more impressive, right? Getting to the playoffs with CJ and things of that nature. He's a little bit more tenured because obviously he has a wider extended jump shot. But Dame has never been with a truly rebuilding team. Like Brad's team was fighting to stay out the G League for the last 2 years. Like his roster. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're being fair, even when Spencer Dinwiddie left, and even while he was on the squad, he was saying, we can't get cohesion because everybody in here is fighting to stay in the NBA. They're fighting for jobs because everybody is so bad, right? So it's like I can't say that we don't judge him, that we don't judge him harsh enough, because it's kind of like everybody else in the league got something. Even the Detroit Pistons got something. Like the Rockets got some guys over there that, like, we ain't gonna give them the same excuses again. Like the Sacramento Kings at least got some dudes over there. Like
it's
Bradley,
tough though, right?
Indiana, like Isman is on like his 14th tour. Like a lot of these guys, like the guys on the Wizards squad are just not NBA level.
I'll throw this question to Sharper Trey, and I feel like this, and this is definitely on topic still, talking about if we judge him too harshly or not, right? When he goes into the media and says, I feel like I should give myself a chance to win, and then re-signs with the Wizards. I'm not saying that is justification to judge him more harshly. And what I'm saying is, though, Dame has been quoted, I'm not going to run from the grind. Bradley Beal, through his play and staying on the Wizards, has not run from the grind. But at what point, because we judge Dame as a superstar. I mean, just like Damian Lillard and James Harden, could not beat the Warriors. Period. It was luck of the draw. Y'all were in the league during the time of a dynasty. That sucks, right?
So I will say this. So I will say this, and this kind of once Woj dropped that bomb, he was sitting there between Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson, and Richard Jefferson kind of talked about what you said. He goes, "Yo, like, how can you say at one point I want to win and contend, but then you re-sign back with the Wizards?" And Perk was Perk was like, bro, think about it like from this standpoint. He said some of us play the game, like Herman Edwards said, you play the game to win. But Kendrick Perkins said, look, Bradley Beal knows he's an all-star. He can hoop. He knows how to get buckets. But think about that. He said, the one thing I used to tell players, whether they were coming to replace me or they were my teammates, if I saw a certain, like a Jordan Poole coming off the bench, whatever have you, scoring, one thing I would say is get your money while you can, because you never know with a freak injury what may happen. So what Bradley Beal, I guess they tallied up with this $251 million extension he got, or this deal he signed, by the time he retires, he would have made over $400 million in his NBA career. But like Tim Legler said, okay, but then he's stuck in purgatory because he hasn't won anything. He's going to be one of those players that, like Tim Legler said, I would have loved to see him on like a Lakers team to pair him up with, or a Miami Heat team where like, obviously we know he can get you 25 when he's been the guy. But imagine if he was, I wouldn't even say the two guy, maybe 1B. Imagine what he can be on another team. And I think part of that is he's invested in here. Trey, you and I talked about how he wants to be one of the few players that was drafted by their organization.
Wants to be a
and then finish out their career. He mentioned Dirk. He mentioned Tim Duncan, where they finished out there. He mentioned Kobe, like where they finished out. Now, granted, what do all three of those gentlemen have?
Listen,
they got
and I'm gonna say
they got rings.
Trey, because I feel like you're about to respond to Sharp, and I love that he mentioned something about Brad Beal being an all-star. When we talk about all-stars, are we? And I'm gonna ask you, Trey. Are we even judging Brad Beal at the level of an all-star? And what do we see the NBA as an all-star? Not saying, because listen, I got a lot of respect for Andrew Wiggins. Again, 17 points per game on his career, that's not easy. Number one pick, it ain't easy. He is an all-star. So is the floor or ceiling in terms of, you know what I mean, critiquing Bradley Beal all-star? Because based on where you put the floor or ceiling, that's a wide margin.
Yeah, I think it's tough because, like we've acknowledged, the Wizards. I think the Wizards have some potential. I don't know if it's necessarily consistent playoff potential, but they have some potential. They have some talent. I'm not the biggest Kuzma fan, but the man can score from time to time. People in the executive ranks like his, I guess, progression so far over the offseason. So I mean, it seems like, that's what they say for everybody, though. So, I mean, the fact that Brad has this sort of team, it's like, it's in a weird situation. You want to see him win more. And sometimes
I will say this. And Jordan,
and I think that's what you want to see. I think because we're not seeing him win, that's the issue. So, like, he is an all-star. He is that caliber talent, but his situation is going to make it look different. It's almost like Drew Holiday. We knew Drew Holiday was a solid situation, but I think we gave Drew a pass because of his situation. Like, once he got to the Bucks.
Drew won in Philly.
I will say this, and Jordan kind of touched, and y'all kind of mentioned this before, because they mentioned, and it kind of ties back to John Wall and Paul George. People forget, at one point, Paul George wanted to come to the Wizards. I don't know how they were going to fix that. He wanted to come with the Wizards and play with John Wall and Bradley Beal. I feel like for us as an organization, y'all going to crack y'all's jokes. We were better 4 or 5 years ago when we had John Wall before the injuries. The one thing y'all said, and Reese, I don't know if you remember me telling you and Trey this. The one thing the Wizards can never get right, and y'all said it tonight, we couldn't get a wing player. Could you imagine somebody to run the court with John Wall? Because like y'all said before with John Wall, he gets up and down the court to push the court, run, whether it be a 3 or a 4. Like somebody like a young Porzingis that could run with him, and then you could kick Bradley Beal out in the corner. He could knock down those corner threes, play the inside out and space game. That's the one thing the Wizards have not been able to do. We have drafted our last 7 out of 8 drafts. We have drafted primarily forward positions.
Yep.
We had Otto Porter. We had Kelly Oubre. You know what I'm saying? What's my man? I forgot the dude, the dude from overseas that Ted Leonsis and them saw on YouTube, and they thought he was the second coming of Dirk Nowitzki. Yes. They thought he was the second coming, and he didn't do anything. Who? Nah, not Yee. He was European. Nah, they saw YouTube clips of him, and he was doing windmills and all that. He was like a 6'10", 6'11" freak, but couldn't do anything. He only lasted 4 years in the. Nah. I forgot my man's. I forgot his name. It wasn't him. I know who that. I forgot his name. But you think about it. We went from Otto Porter, Kelly Oubre, even like as of recently, Rui Hachimura. You know what I'm saying? We brought in Denny. Like we're constantly drafting a 3 or a 4. It's like we can't figure that position out. We nailed the point guard position. You know, he's no longer here with us with John Wall. We got a Bradley Beal. At one point, we drafted what we thought would be Bradley Beal's replacement before we shipped him off to Chicago with Troy Brown Jr. But that's why I'm so interested to see what they're going to do with Johnny Davis coming in, because I know that boy can get a bucket watching him in the Big Ten. Like they at one point before we had Murray, we thought he might be playing the point guard position.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing we couldn't get right and we still haven't been able to figure that out.
Y'all ain't the only ones, though.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's a tough one. Like,
the Trailblazers, they tried.
Yeah.
The Trailblazers tried too.
Tried to fail.
You gotta have a wing. When you got two dominant scoring guards, you have to win at the wing position somehow. And that's why I had to ask the question on when they got the second time around, because obviously John Wall and Bill was a fail. But when you get to, and I won't even say it's a fail because they had a playoff run, you know what I mean? But when you get a second opportunity with Russ and Bradley Beal, Denny Avdi and Rui Hachimura.
Yeah, Rui couldn't get it. And that's why when they were pairing up trade options, I'm like, shoot, yo, bro, hey, Rui, it was nice, bro. Look, I know they love you in Chinatown because of your Asian descent, him being half Japanese. Look, hey, we gotta bro, something gotta
listen. I was talking to my fiance about this. She asked me if I felt like the Celtics should be willing to give up 3 to 4 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray when first-round picks are like the good players. I said no. The good players are the guys in the league. Yeah. I'm not betting on an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old cat. If I can go get me a 25, 26-year-old, 27-year-old established good player, why would I not? If my goal is to win and not to make money, because that's what we have to think about it. At the foundation, the NBA is a business.
Yeah, you know I mean? if you're looking like that, you basically looking like Oklahoma City.
But it is a business.
Yeah,
fact.
I mean that's why I was pushing so hard for us when they were talking about the Wizards might have to give up their first round and maybe now Trey. I know you made a comment about Kuzma. I just feel like, and real quick, I feel like every player, and we talked about this before, that has left LeBron, whether it be Ingram or Julius Randle with the Knicks. Or Kuzma. I feel like their games have kind of turned upward because
Ron get people paid.
Yeah.
Period.
You know what I'm saying?
They definitely get better. They just don't win the ring.
Fact. Hey, fellas. All right, so look, we're gonna head off to the Would You Rathers. And what we're gonna do is how this goes is I'm gonna list off the question. I'm gonna point at. I'm gonna ask one of y'all. Y'all answer the question. After that, if someone got something different, you state what it is different. Just list it off quick though. You know what I'm saying? Like let's try to make these a little quick as possible.
but like we can have a little discussion about it though. So with that being said, for Kevin Durant, right, strictly off of talent, would you go Kyrie or Dame? And Jordan, let me start with you.
Oh, Kyrie or Dame?
At strictly off talent, no intangibles, nothing like that.
To play alongside Kevin Durant, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Fuck, Dame.
Does anybody differ or?
What did he say? Did he say anything?
He said Dame.
I said Dame,
right?
I said Dame.
I'm going with Kyrie, the 3 in a one's body. That's it.
I'm gonna say, Jordan, what was your reason for going Dame specifically over Kyrie?
So my reason, I'm very big on Dame. I love Damian Lillard's game, right? I think that that was just really unfair for me to have to do that. So off the cuff like that, that was crazy. Very high on Dame. His range, his ability to shoot, his passing ability is much greater than Kyrie's. In terms of clutch, I think the two of them kind of head to head on that factor, right? Like I can't really pick one over the other. Kyrie's a better finisher. Dame is scarier when he crosses half court, right? So if I'm Kevin Durant, I want to be alongside somebody that can pull some gravity, right? Spread the floor out for him so I can get into that mid post. Kyrie Irving ain't really giving you a lot of gravity from the 3-point line. While he's actually a great 3-point shooter, he's a great 3-point shooter from the 3-point line. So like you don't have to guard him as high as you have to guard Damian Lillard. Kyrie Irving is also more of an ISO basketball player. He dribbles a lot more than Dame does per bucket. And he tries to get downhill, right? It's more of an erratic style of play. It's beautiful to watch, right? The way he be baking people. But Dame plays more of a smooth game, right? The way that he gets to the bucket, the way he gets to his spots, even in his ISOs, and the way that he works a pick and roll is a lot smoother than Kyrie, in my opinion, right? Just because the way he keeps pace in the game, Kyrie is just kind of. It's not. Kyrie has great pace, but he moves very quickly. Yeah, like he's going at your head. So
more fearful, smoother.
Yeah, more gravity away from the basket and a slower pace of basketball, which would work better for
Kyrie. Definitely needs players to keep up with him.
I agree with that. He moves very quick, and I think that's what didn't work in Brooklyn.
Got you. Okay. All right. Freddie, I feel like I know. Actually, I don't know which one. From a point guard standpoint only. Ja Morant or Trae Young?
Ja Morant.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's easy.
Ja Morant?
Point guard, yeah.
Hey, hold on, Freddie. Can you lean in a little closer? I can't hear you. Can y'all hear him?
No, 1 second. Yeah. My bad. 1 second, fellas. 1 second. Yep. Hello?
Yeah.
Any better, fellas?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right.
So you said Ja Morant over Trae Young? As a point guard. Strictly a point guard.
Easily. In anything, Ja Morant.
Damn. Well, so as a point guard, what for you gives Ja Morant the nod over Trae?
Honestly, a lot of the similarities to what we just said about Dame Lillard, minus of course the range. Ja Morant just controls the game and understands just every single possession. I think a little better than Trae Young. Trae Young is still figuring that out. I think Nate McMillan has done a great job with helping Trae understand the importance of each possession. Me and you have always talked about this. Trae Young, since Oklahoma, I don't think he understood how much better he could be if he knew how to understand what's going on the court. I think he moves at 100 miles per hour sometime, which leads to a lot of his turnovers. I feel like he allows himself to be trapped a lot. I think he tries to force it too much. With Ja Morant, I mean, especially this year, we've seen Ja Morant literally control a game for 3 quarters without dominating from a scoring aspect. And then fourth quarter comes, take over the game. So again, just a lot of the things that we talked about with Dame outside of the range, obviously.
I think that's another.
So
That's tough.
That's
only because
I don't know about that.
Because for me, all right, so for me, I look at Trey as the better point guard because when I look at Ja, he has Tyus Jones helping him out. So when I look at
he doesn't
Trey,
have the ball all the time.
Yeah, like when I look at Trey, it's Trey. Like John Collins ain't bringing up nothing. I'm sorry, I like Kevin Huerter, but like he's not going to get me the he's my
I
shooter.
lost a lot of money
so
on his 4 assists per game.
Yeah, so like I think Trey's the better playmaker, like the better point guard. I think he sets up the team a little bit more, guys, and I think he has a lot more responsibility.
I'm gonna be honest
on his playing
okay,
from that vantage point.
Yeah. Now, do you take into account that Rondo actually helped groom Trey into kind of where he's at right now, along with coaching, along with what surrounded him as well? The court is a little more open. Granted, I told you, I think Trey has definitely stepped his game up. But again, just looking at Ja on that court, and Tyus Jones is a monster as well. But again, looking at these games, what Ja Morant was able to do versus whether if it was Minnesota or if it was Golden State, there was times where Ja slows the game down, get his shooters where they need to be, get them an open shot. Okay, come down. All right, they're denying Bane on the wing. I go and get my bucket here. All right, like he understands each possession. I don't see that from Trey at all. Like I said, I think a lot of his turnovers come from that. For me, that's the big deal. I hate wasting possessions.
Ja also turns the ball over a lot. But
not at the yep.
Like he like it's the thing that we don't talk about, but like the team went 20-2 without him. So how good is he? Right? Like the Atlanta Hawks, you pluck
how good is he?
Come on, bro.
Like,
Come on.
No. And if I could finish my next sentence, right? Like if you pluck Trae Young off the Atlanta Hawks, they're not going 10-10. DeAndre Hunter isn't a proven scorer with the ball in his hands or really off ball at this point. Just a catch and shoot player that can score, that can defend pretty well. John Collins hasn't proven to be anything more than a lob threat to this point, really. Same thing with Clint Capella. Like Kevin Huerter,
shooter.
Is he the guy that's going to play the Dylan Brooks role and give you 30, 34, and 4 in games without John Morant?
No, Jordan.
So, wait. Time out. Wait.
Well, Jordan, I don't disagree with you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like it's not like.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jordan, completely. So it's not to argue. I completely agree. If you take Trey off Atlanta, they're not much. But I think it's just the way the teams are structured. Memphis has a great coach. They have crazy depth. Tyus Jones, I'm sure, can go to Atlanta and fill in for Trey, and they'll still win as well.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
But again, I'm just talking about with Ja and me looking at these two players and what they do for their teams game in and game out. What Ja does, whether if it's scoring or facilitating, it's just more effective to me than when I look at Trey.
Jordan,
I feel like Trey gets like with Miami exposed Trey Young.
I'm gonna throw a stat in.
Exposed Trey Young.
I'm gonna throw a stat in, Jordan. I still want you to ask your follow-up question.
All right, yeah, but I'm gonna say Reese does that, and then Jordan go and after that.
I just wanted to say, so if we look at Trey Young plays 76 games to Ja Morant's 57. So if we say that Ja Morant plays 76 games, Ja Morant, based on his turnovers per game at 57, is actually top 5 with Trey Young in turnovers, total turnovers and total turnovers per game. But obviously, though, he has to be on the court, which I have to say, as a point guard, I want my point guard on the court. So not
Right.
saying to that 20-2, I really don't care about what their record, the team's record was with Ja off the court, but I will say as a point guard, I want you on the court more than I want you off the court. And so for them to have almost a 20-game difference, I think that's kind of tells to their point guard. Because at that point, when Ja Morant is 40 feet in the air, I mean, he's a 2 at that point. I mean, like
and so now here's my follow-up question. Because you picked Ja. You had to choose one of those two. So if you were to swap those players, you take Trae Young and you put him on the Memphis Grizzlies with them boys over there.
He played 76 games.
And you take Ja Morant and you put him in Atlanta.
And he plays 57 games.
Yeah.
What team
Wait,
get
what?
better? What
Forget the
team get
games. I want this.
All right, we can say both.
Just swap the players. Yeah, just swap the players.
Swap the players. Let's swap the players. Who get better? Who get worse?
Question. Atlanta, simply because Memphis is a legit.
You think Atlanta gets
team.
better? You think Atlanta gets better? We don't need to talk anymore. Hey, I was already about to head out.
Just ask me a question. Here we go.
I was already about to.
By the way, I can't wait to have that Mike versus LeBron debate with you.
You can't. No, I
already know this is gonna be great.
I don't even need to talk to you no more. I'm gonna tell you the truth because you don't.
Out of respect, Jordan, listen, because Memphis is already an extremely good team. What Ja does for them is not quite what Trae would do for them. All right, and that's all I'm saying. Ja and Trae.
So you're saying Atlanta gets better because Ja don't got to do that much for Memphis, so he'll be able to do more for Atlanta? Is that what you said?
He froze.
Open up a lot of people's eyes.
All right, so look, what we're gonna do? We're gonna go sharper. Glad you're back with us. I ain't been this happy to see you all night. 2023.
Damn. Okay.
No, I'm playing. So look, over the past, 5 years, right? The top. There've been some relatively good prospects drafted. There will be a top 10. If you could say, is there anyone from this draft class that would crack that top 10? I'm talking about like next season or even like 2 seasons from now. So like over the past 5 years, could there be anybody from this 2023 class that could crack the top 10 of the players that were drafted over the last 5 years?
That's a very good question.
Because off the break,
you said top 10?
Yeah, so if there's a top 10 of the players drafted over the past 5 years, right? Like rank that top 10. And I want to say I had that written down somewhere. Had like a quick little listing. But if there's a top 10 for you, right? Like you got hold on.
Maybe Jaden Ivey.
You got Jaden. You got Jaden going there over the likes of a Paolo.
I would say either Paolo or Jaden, one of the two.
Okay. Is
because
there
also
about them too?
I put it like this. Also, you got to look at where they were drafted, like what team and maybe what pieces they have around them that can help elevate their game. Not just, them getting buckets, but what pieces they have around them that can help their game accelerate. You know what I'm saying? I feel like with Jaden Ivey, they got a Cade Cunningham, right?
Yeah.
And who else did they? What was the center they got too?
Jalen Duren.
Jalen
Duren. So that might help accelerate his game a little bit because they got a young nucleus there where they can build off each other. I mean, Paolo got his wishful thinking to KD. He got my man Cole Anthony. Mm-hmm. And who else they got? They got Wagner down there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's about what was the time span you gave
over the past 5 years? So, and I found the listing that I had. So we got people like Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, Ja Morant, Trae Young, Zion, Shea, Darius Garland, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Cade Cunningham, DeAndre Ayton, Jaren Jackson. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's 10
no,
names.
I was listening.
That's the 10 Reese is saying he would roll with.
What I'm telling you is those 10 players are better than everybody in this draft. I don't need to see them guys on the court, no matter what team they go to. The 10 guys that you legitimately just named.
That's tough to beat. Yeah.
The 10 guys that you just named, and you didn't even get to 2019 or 2020 yet, based on what the names that I heard. That's you're not beating those 10 guys. I'm not saying that this draft.
I have one for you, Trey. A sleeper. I have one for you, Trey.
Who?
Shaedon Sharpe for Portland.
Hey, Reese, you heard him. You got
big guard. Big guard. I think. Listen,
because he was out the way, but
listen. I hate that the Celtics. I hate that the Celtics did not start Jaylen Brown. I'm talking about when he first got drafted. I love Shaedon Sharpe as a guy who probably will start in next year because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm still very, very questionable about what's going to happen in Portland. Personally,
I don't think he starts over Nasir Little off the break because Nasir did have a wonderful season last year. So I think
he's right. They plug him in at the 2, maybe.
If KD
at the 3, because you got Josh Hart still over there.
Josh Hart is your 6th man. Josh Hart does not need to start.
So are we losing Anthony already? Like,
so you have Simons and Hart off the bench.
Anthony, that's what I was just about to say, Trey. Anthony is going to Brooklyn. It's
KD.
You
heard it here first.
It's KD. Yeah, it's not.
Anthony's going to Brooklyn.
I'm not giving Anthony $25 million off of 17 points once Damian Lillard sat down. I can't.
Okay.
Like, I mean, somebody on here tell me if I'm wrong. $25 million.
I agree.
I mean, he might be nice, but you never know. Hey, we never know.
No, okay. Never know. Well, I will say that has to be an attempt at a salary match. So if they pass or fail on getting KD, you're giving Anthony $25 million. I do not care. He did not show me 25 mil. I don't care what anybody. I don't care what advanced stats you show me. I don't care I don't care if in 10 years he is on a playoff contender team, a finals contender team. At this present moment, he did not show you 25 million over 4 years. I don't care.
It's a little steep, but I get that though.
25.
Okay. So
we're talking about guys like DeAndre Ayton who was about to fight tooth and nail for his max.
Yeah. Okay.
25 is a big number.
So then let me ask you this then. In today's coaching, right? Since that one's a tough sell for you. As a coach, who would you rather play for in today's basketball? Greg Popovich.
Not who would I rather play for. Oh wait, so as a player, who would I rather play for? Mm-hmm. Or are you saying okay? Who?
Mm-hmm. Greg Popovich or Steve Kerr?
Steve Kerr.
Now, who do you think? Who do you guys who would you think as a player is the better coach?
Well, no, hold on. Let me real quick before y'all answer that. I'm going to say Steve Kerr because Steve Kerr is more lenient on letting guys play. So if I'm a player and I want to play and potentially get paid off of playing, is Steve Kerr. Because if we're really being honest, why? And I'm not throwing a shot, okay? I'm not throwing a shot when I say this. Why? There were certain guys playing in the finals that should not have been playing. Okay? But Steve Kerr is the type of cat to let certain European players who can stretch the floor and maybe
the elite was out there. He was strapping up Jason Tatum.
I'm just saying. So if I'm a player, I want to play for a coach who's gonna let me play.
I mean, Greg Popovich let people
Facts.
play. That's all I'm gonna say. So do y'all two disagree then? Like, would y'all?
No.
I'm sorry, Reese. Reese, did you say Greg Popovich or Coach Kerr is better?
I would rather be Coach
Kerr. Coached by Kerr. But who is, as a player, who
Kerr or Popovich
is the better coach?
Who was the better coach?
Or would you rather play for?
Yeah, better coach Popovich.
Yeah. Okay.
100. 100.
Yeah.
Do y'all two disagree with that?
No, I agree with that.
With both of those answers, with both of the answers.
Oh, no, I agree with both because without Greg Popovich, there is no Steve Kerr.
That's a lie though, because it's without Greg Popovich.
We're talking legacy though.
I'm talking about legacy with the coaching. I
just want to give Phil a quick plug. That's all. Team Lakers. Freddie, did you disagree with anything that they said?
Kerr, I'd rather, but Pop is obviously the better.
Yeah. I would definitely say.
And then he said he would rather play with Kerr because he feels like Kerr is a little more lenient. Is that are you on that same boat as well, or would you rather play for Pop?
Answer would be I'd rather play for Kerr, but really it depends, man. It really depends.
That's what I'm saying, right? And I feel like just to give a little more context, if Greg Popovich drafted, I mean not him drafting because he's not a GM at that point. He stepped down from GM. But if he was given Steph Curry and Klay Thompson after having Tim Duncan and David Robinson, again, I'm waving a tampering flag because it's just no way. It's just no way that things could go that well for one man. I just don't agree. I just don't agree.
I feel that. Okay. And I'm kind of mad Jordan left
bigs in a big league and did not get any guards in a guard league. He got Kawhi Leonard and then he got injured. That's all I'm gonna say. Keep going.
Yeah, that is true. I'm kind of mad Jordan left. This is gonna be the last one.
Jordan left too. You think he got away, but I got some.
I'm gonna do two.
Oh snap!
Who has it tougher, Knicks fans or 76ers fans?
Knicks fans. I mean, did y'all see Spike Lee and Stephen A. getting down on their hands and knees and praying during the draft? I mean, come on now. I thought they were about to do a seance.
But look. So Jordan,
I thought they caught the Holy Ghost for a
stated, like, you know, they haven't won in like 30 years. You know, like he hasn't seen them be in the finals since he was about 4 or 5 years old. That was a while ago. I don't know, like Freddie, what? Good job. I think
now we back to the 3-man group. Okay,
yeah, I guess that was a little personal.
Listen,
running the triangle.
All I will say is the Sixers have won a ring more recently. The Sixers have won a ring more recently than the Knicks. We're talking 83 for the Sixers, 73 for the Knicks. Now, Freddie, you're back, so I'm gonna let you answer who has it tougher, Philly fans or Knicks fans?
Knicks fans. I mean,
I told you. I told you.
Yeah, Knicks fans. You know why?
There's a recency bias in it.
For that. No,
like both teams have now won a ring in 30 plus years.
Damn that. There's a reason why. Listen, because with being a Knick, there's always expectation. And we always get right there. There's always, boom, we always right there, right? Just like the Cowboys. And then we let everyone down. So it's always dangling right here, right? Boom. And then they take it away. So we're always right on the edge of our seats for something great, a la Katie and Kyrie, right?
And Zion.
But listen.
Or when they thought LeBron was coming to the Knicks.
Everybody. You know who we
That's
get?
what I'm saying.
Real quick, I'm going to do this for you. Listen, I'm gonna name these.
Matter of fact,
listen: Mike Bibby, Baron Davis, Steve Francis, Tracy McGrady, Penny Hardaway, Dikembe Mutombo, Vin Baker,
I can keep going.
Okay, but look though, Fred.
You know what they have in common?
Look, Fred. Look. I gotta kick it to you like this. It has been 30 years since both teams have won a ring, right? If we're talking finals appearances, we got the Knicks in 99.
Philly in 01.
Listen, and Philly in 01.
All right.
So if we're talking timeline, so I feel like the New York Knicks media.
Trey, he's not hearing me, man.
No. Listen.
It's for Freddie. It's because of the expectations. So it sounds like for him, we don't expect shit from Philly.
But who sets the expectation? It is your media.
Personally.
I don't necessarily think it's that, because I think, for example, even when the Bulls got good this year, people were talking about championship expectations because of Jordan. Really, like that, and they had a good team. But down,
it was Bulls.
All right,
real quick. It was Bulls. It was Bulls championship because DeMar DeRozan kept dropping 40 pieces. And it was the first Bull since Jordan. That's player specific pushing that.
Reese, let's think about this, bro. Who else was anticipated to be a title contender this year and the year before and the year before? Think about it. So Philly made the playoffs and lost in the second round. That was disappointing as hell. Wait a minute. Disappointing as hell. Guess who didn't even make the playoffs and not a sound as the Knicks? You know why? If we would have lost in the first round, that would have been a successful season for us, bro. Those players' names that I named, by the way, were probably 25% of the hundreds of former all-star players that we overpaid, who were beaten down, injured, in trash bags when we got them. Again, T-Mac, Steve Francis is out of the world. Freaking Ben Baker, Dikembe Mutombo. You know how many Mike Bibby, Baron Davis, how many former stars jersey?
That's why I wore the jersey.
And stole money and averaged 6 points. T-Mac dropped 26 points his first game with us in the first half. And they scored 26 points for the rest of the season with us.
Hey, look, let me tell you this.
Yeah,
let me tell you this. Let me tell you what's gonna happen real quick. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. In 2024, the New York Knicks, with their first round pick, will be drafting Bronny James, and LeBron will be rocking these when he comes to the New York Knicks. So he can play there.
Trey,
I can't see him.
That right there should be the lead of this episode.
Hey,
I love that. I love that.
Do me a favor, bro, and mellows to me so I can see him a little closer. I can't see him too good through the camera. Just mellow him to me.
Hey, there you go.
I'm weak.
Listen. Bron to the Knicks would complete, and I'm gonna grab the mic. Bron to the Knicks would complete his tenure. If he is the one perennial all-star, and because I'm gonna be honest with you, every time LeBron James switches jerseys, he enters a new prime. Okay. So, that being said, if he can do it in New York, listen, Empire State of Mind.
And with Bronny James, with son.
Okay.
All I'm gonna say is he gonna need another bubble for that. So, anyways, fellas.
You never seen somebody hate their team. He's not a real Lakers fan, bro. You know you're not a real fan.
Did you see me say anything about the Lakers or LeBron?
But you don't credit that championship.
And then
your hatred for one player.
I've stated I root for my Lakers, but if we lose, well, guess what? It's an easier landing because the consolation prize is that man loses. That's cool. Like, I'm okay with that.
Hey, Trey. Listen, bro. Y'all were trash before he got there. Kobe's last 5 years, bro, were a disgrace. Listen, nope.
Before he got there, we won
he made y'all relevant again. Okay? You hear me?
Crazy. Because I could have sworn D-Lo made us relevant off some BS.
Really?
Don't do that, bro.
Really?
We didn't need.
Don't be bringing my man D-Lo. Don't be bringing my Buckeye into
We were relevant with a trash squad, Freddie. Come on now.
Wait,
Come on
right
now.
before they traded him away, right? He made
Listen,
him
my man,
really.
my man
Listen.
D'Lo into this,
Hold on.
bro.
But were we
Really?
relevant? Yes,
He
but
wasn't
were we
even their best
relevant? Yes or
player.
no?
Oh my goodness.
Were they
we
relevant, Freddie?
Were
That is the
we
question.
relevant?
Were they
What's
relevant?
relevant?
Oh, TMZ.
It's sad.
The Lakers.
I'm gonna tell you how relevant D'Lo
That's
is. I'm gonna tell you how relevant D'Lo
On
is.
TMZ.
D'Lo is so relevant. He's the third best player on his team right now. That's how relevant he is.
Whoa, wait a minute.
That's how
Also
Mr.
He
Relevant,
was
right?
also in the playoffs. Like, what are you talking about?
Because
Like,
he's
it's
their
okay.
third best player.
He almost
Exactly.
beat the Memphis Grizzlies. What
Because
are we
he's
talking
their
about? Like, he's
third best
relevant.
player.
Fourth, Malik Beasley has a higher trade value.
Disrespectful.
Malik Beasley has a higher trade
All right,
value.
listen, fellas.
We're going to move on to the next question. Final question.
Is it
Reese,
the Kyrie
I'm going to
question
let you know right
finally?
now, we will be circling back to that.
Is it the Kyrie question?
No. I asked the Kyrie one earlier.
No, did I miss it? Because I had a lot to say. My bad. Okay. A whole lot to say.
Oh, I
been waiting.
I can give you a quick little soapbox, 30
It's
seconds.
not quick, so we ain't even got to do it because I nope.
All right, Trey, what was you about to say?
What's tougher to play in, right? And you know, I'm gonna give y'all some time to think. But what's tougher to play in, the WNBA or the NBA?
WNBA. I don't even have to talk about it. Yeah.
I would say
I'm gonna be honest because I see y'all rattling. Like I say the WNBA because this, at least if you're in the NBA, right? Lose a job, you can go to the G League and potentially get called back up. If you play in the WNBA, for starters, there's
WNBA,
spots.
Less
and
teams.
Then if you get cut, there's no G League. So it's like
you got what?
It's not even a getting cut aspect, Trey. You also have to mention. Right? You also have to mention the fact that WNBA owners are releasing players so they don't have to pay them.
It's all about
I feel like that happens in the NBA too, though.
Yeah. Nah, but not to you are a potential star.
That's why Juancho Gomez or Hernan Gomez got cut today for that exact.
You talking about Bo Cruz?
Yeah, Bo Cruz got cut today. I was like, damn, not Bo. Yeah, he got cut, man.
Not Bo.
Maybe he's gonna go to Boston. Man.
Hey,
T.J. Warren, you heard it here first. T.J. Warren.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely.
Hold up, real quick. Andre Drummond is going to the Bulls
versus 30. What's that?
Andre Drummond is finalizing a deal with the Chicago Bulls. Shams just released it.
Oh boy!
What did I tell y'all? Kyrie, KD, one of them are going to Chicago. Andre knows something.
If Kyrie go there, listen. Kyrie only has 2 chances to win another ring: go and join Giannis or go and join Bron. Anything else is just.
He can go and join Kevin Durant with a better organization.
Oh yeah, that's gonna do it.
I think so.
Okay.
You know, that's another story.
Hey, Freddie. Free agent guard Jalen Brunson has agreed to a 4-year, $104 million deal to the New York Knicks.
Hey, listen. I know it's what we do. Historically, it's what we do.
But like, all right.
It's what we do, brother.
Before we close off, Brunson's going to be that bad for y'all? Like, how bad of a signing is this for you?
It's not that bad of a signing for real.
Who's that?
I don't know if it's gonna set y'all back too much.
Yeah, it's not.
I feel like he could be a nice little guard for the future to help out. I don't know.
Talking
him and
Jalen
Barrett
Brunson?
Cool. Yeah.
Jalen Brunson
and Barrett's cool.
So what will be the Knicks starting 5 next season?
Brunson, Fournier, Barrett, Julius Randle, and hopefully Mitchell Robinson, but probably Jericho Sims.
I thought y'all were trying to get rid of Fournier. I thought y'all might try to package him in a trade deal or something.
Y'all, they probably will, but that's potential.
Yeah, I mean, if we can't get Mitchell Robinson back, I like Jericho Sims starting for us. He showed some promise.
He did.
Bring Obi off the bench with the
but that's not. That's promise. That's promise not for y'all to really go nowhere though.
So let me ask you. Okay,
but all
he
got to do is do what he's been doing: block shots,
let me ask you
rebound,
this.
and facilitate.
What is your take on Obi Toppin?
Listen, I was down on him when we first drafted him. I'm like, man, he was 20-something. He was a grown man when he came in the league. I'm like, okay. So he's probably just bullying these guys in college,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he got hurt, so we saw a slow progress. Thibodeau didn't put him in a rotation. I was down on him this past year. We saw his three-point shooting get better, more confidence in his offensive game. When our big guys was out, he was putting up 20, 10, and 5, blocking shots, hitting threes, facilitating. I'm high on Obi Toppin now. And to the point where I wouldn't mind getting rid of Julius Randle and starting.
I've been seeing that. I've been seeing Julius.
I think RJ is going to be.
I'm not gonna lie, Julius to the Celtics.
Fair, do it. And
give us Julius back to the Lakers.
Robert Williams and somebody else.
No, but I will say, because we're kind of not live no more, because now that we're kind of doing this little segue, I will say, as a Celtics fan, I am just looking to see who is going to take the crown of the starting 4 position from Al Horford. He cannot do it at a high level for 3 more years, which is what we are going to need. I don't know. Every time I feel like I have a guy named, listen, when I say this name, don't throw rocks at me. I'm literally trying to fill a hole. Marvin Bagley just re-signed with the Pistons. That hurt me. You know what I mean? Jeremy Grant goes to the Trailblazers for a first-round pick that I know the Celtics have. That hurt me. I'm just looking for a guy 6'10" to play power forward. I don't give a damn who he is no more because we're not live. I don't give a damn.
You know what? I don't think you'll find somebody of that caliber to start.
Actually, you know what? That would be a bad. That wouldn't be a bad big.
He's 6'8", 220. You see what he listed as 6'8", 220.
That wouldn't be a bad. They got KD listed for the Celtics. That wouldn't be a bad big 3 for the Celtics. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Julius Randle. That would be pretty solid. But like you said, though, y'all might have to get rid of Woods.
Robert Williams.
Williams. It's not happening.
I mean, Williams.
Rob Williams. If Rob Williams can make a 12-footer jumper, the league should be terrified next year. If he can make a 12-footer, it's not safe for nobody.
You know who's turning into Rob Williams, and he can make a 30-foot jumper down there? Mo Bamba. And I'm pissed off that a lot of people did not go after Mo Bamba. I don't know what the hell.
Where's Mo Bamba? Is he still in Orlando?
He just re-signed in Orlando today.
It's like, because he has a song.
I thought he was coming to my
because he has a song. You can't re-sign a guy that got a song.
I'm like, dog, what are you doing? He is a talent, and he's
a talent, period.
Last year, his game stepped. I mean, you got Wendell Carter Jr., you got Mo Wagner, you got Franz Wagner. You got Freddie. My thing about Mo is the fear of him. Like, I feel like a place like Boston is best for a guy like Mo because you look at Miles Turner. And they just signed Bol in Orlando.
I know. Well, I'm saying you look at a guy like Miles Turner who got turned into a corner jump shooter, and then a guy who has to block shots. I like Boston's defensive system and offensive system as a whole because we involve everybody. Nobody is just out there. You know what I mean? So I feel like for a guy like Mo Bamba, if I'm a young guy, I want to go somewhere where I feel involved, where I can earn my spot and be involved.
He would have probably saved the Lakers defensively.
Facts.
I thought he was going there. Every part of me was like, yo, he's going to the Lakers. They just signed Bol.
When I was talking about the Wizards starting lineup, I couldn't start Kuzma unless I put him at the 3 because Kristaps is not going to run the 5, just like Anthony Davis.
He ran the 5 on the Mavs.
But he really doesn't want to.
And what happened? He got sent to the Wizards.
He put some weight on, though. He put some weight on.
Kristaps, he can play 5.
He bulked up.
KP is like AD. They can run the 5.
No,
they're best at the 4.
Trey, because he is like AD, it's why he wants to run the 4. We're talking about a guy who, if Jalen Brunson switches onto him, he is going to shoot a fadeaway.
Who?
Yeah.
This is why KD shot a fadeaway over Pat Bev.
Hey, no, but this is why
KD. Are you putting KD at your 5?
No, but that's different.
It's not different. We're talking about personality traits. Aside from intangibles, I'm talking about your personality trait. You know what I mean? If I'm interviewing for a job and I ask you what personality trait do you want to fill this role, AD, KP, KD are 4 and above. They're not going to a 5.
Sharp trying to chime in. I just want to say something real quick for a Sharp go. Kristaps has played center in the past for my Knicks,
so
for
does AD.
Dallas, and he blocks 2 shots per game. He rebounds when necessary. Like, he's a unicorn for real, and he did bulk up. If you look at Kristaps now compared to 3-4 years ago, he bulked up. Worst case scenario, there's not too many. You got Joel Embiid, you got Joker, right? There's not too many huge, like, girthy centers in the league to where you're going to necessarily need a huge center. You can take, like you said, Gafford.
So why are they bulking up to play center?
What's that?
So why are they bulking up to play center?
What do you mean?
They're bulking up because
you just said you don't need huge centers. So why are they bulking up?
Well,
you can just be a 4.
You got to
play a 5.
No, you can bulk up just to bulk up. That's why. I mean, naturally, look how many players bulked up. Steph, Tatum, Brandon Ingram, Anthony Davis, Kristaps. A lot of players bulk up just to help their frame and their durability later into the season. But what I'm saying is you can take Gafford during a game where because the Lakers were doing it, right? They'll put Dwight in at center during certain games. In other games, they'll start AD at center. Just depends on matchups. Most games, you can start Porzingis at the 5.
Well, see, and that's
LeBron James also started at the 5.
I think for us, I think
cool
like
with that
said,
too. I think we need to do
both
that more.
Both y'all made valid points. I think for us, real quick, KP can play the 4 or the 5. I think with the way we want to play now, we want to play that stretch 4 position. KP can knock those down. Gafford is like 6'10", 6'11", but he's scrappy. He has a limited inside game, but he's scrappy as hell. He will battle against the 7', 7'1". But KP, he will be able to kick it out because he was hurt. He was hurt though.
But your starting lineup didn't have Gafford in it though.
Robert Williams is 6'8". We don't even realize that because
no. Gafford, I do realize it. That's why I have to say though, it's a personality trait. Robert Williams wants to fight against niggas who are, because we're offline at this point. He wants to fight against guys who are a foot taller. He wants to do it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, same thing.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about will and want to. Like you said, you have to be willing to play. Like when it all comes down to being scrappy, deep. Like for example, how tall was Dennis Rodman?
6'5".
You said okay. Also,
but Dennis Rodman was strapping up against 7-footers, like because he had that.
Who
dog
just won the finals? Who just won a ring? What we're talking about? Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, and Kevon Looney, bro. Like Otto Porter and Draymond Green. Like let's not
bring up Otto Porter. My heart hurts.
I'm just saying he started at 4 at one point. You know what I mean? We're at a point where it depends on what you want out of your 5 is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And that's why I say you can start him at the center because there aren't too many. Again, when you go run into Embiid or Joker, put another big guy out there.
Right. Because AD said, I'm listing myself at 6'10" because when you're 6'11", you have to play center. He said that on the Saturday Night Live show. He said
Reese, KP's never shied away from the center position though. Like I feel like he kind of embraced it. Like
I'll give you that.
It's like because like Anthony Davis, I'll say okay, I need a Dwight Howard right quick because he said he wants to play 4. KP has never said that, so like I can't say
y'all about to get. Boogie.
I mean,
I love y'all guys.
That would be a good.
I like Boogie. I love y'all guys. I gotta go though.
Yeah,
we better head out. Appreciate y'all, boys. Hey, I'm gonna say we'll do this again sometime soon.
All right.
There's gonna be some new ones. Appreciate y'all.
Kyrie take because I'm mad I missed out and I got a lot to say.
I'll bring it back up.
All right, fellas.